Check. Sibilance.
Yes.
Sibilance. Sounds great.
Yeah, nailed it.
All right. Cool. You ready?
So what do we got today?
So today we have the actual pre-workout made by the company of the thing that Gabby gets.
Okay.
And then on it, amino energy.
Perfect.
So one is a pre-workout and the other one's kind of like a semi-healthy like energy that you're bringing to it.
Cheers.
So, less than last week.
That tasted better than last week.
Yeah. See how there's still powder left in the bottom of your glass? That's how you know you brought it.
Do I need to finish this?
No.
Are you sure?
You probably got too much
I'll
already.
do it.
No, you probably got too much on board already. Let me take a quick.
I'm gonna get a little of this too. I'm pumped.
I am now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
About
joking.
to be.
I was super pumped all weekend to talk to you about this. I followed the coverage and experienced some hardcore FOMO to the point I got out of town.
Yeah.
The Gabbers and I went to Ludington since Pro States isn't going to be there this year. We went for our anniversary, 4 years. We went to Ludington and just spent the weekend.
Fuck yeah.
So it's super weird going to Ludington, never throwing a Frisbee, and doing all the stuff that I never had the time to do.
Yeah.
Like I went to the beach, played putt-putt,
Yeah.
hit up the shops, got a new Ludington hat that's
Hell yeah.
virtually identical to my old one, so I love it.
This one looks crispier than the last.
It's a little crispier.
Yeah, it makes sense now. But
Yeah.
congrats on that.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually really good. It was really relaxing, and I just went in vacation mode. So I went and relaxed.
Yeah.
Which, if you know me, is very difficult for me to do because I'm generally like,
A little bit, yeah.
yeah. So I went. I actually fell asleep on the beach and just did some stuff. I didn't get burned,
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
which was nice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's good.
It's a lot of color right now, but we'll see what
Yeah.
it turns into. But
Soon you'll be me.
yeah, we'll see. Genetics be damned.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go.
Yeah. What do you want to start with?
DGLO is over, and we did the game plan from last week, preparation for a tournament,
Yeah.
and then now we're gonna do a little how'd the tournament go, a little post tournament kind of sediment on it, go through how your holes played out versus the game plan that you put in place,
Yeah.
and then after that we'll just scramble around. We'll get our scramble game together.
Yeah, whichever. I had a couple ideas for afterwards, including spectators and whatever. But we'll get to that.
Cool.
So,
All right.
yeah. So, I mean, for those who don't know, you obviously know because I think you followed every round because I talked to you like right as the round was over. So I shot 64, 59, 55. So
Yes.
I like, not only did I improve, but like I improved like significantly like each time by like a lot.
Yes, watching it on the outside, if you just saw the scores at the end of the round, it was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Okay, that went better, to like, damn.
Yeah.
That was a sweet round.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like, so going into it, I didn't feel as much pressure as I thought I was going to feel. Like, there was definitely pressure. There was definitely nerves and all that stuff because it's like first tournament in like a while, especially on like basically just the biggest stage with like the number one people out there.
Yeah.
And it was something that I just kind of forgot how it was like. So not only like the tournament scene itself and playing in it, but kind of the atmosphere that comes with it, the people that are there and just how they interact with others or don't interact with others.
Either way.
Which was
personal choice.
Which was very interesting. And again, just kind of like long forgotten.
Question.
Yeah.
Did the pressure come at any point from knowing that all of the viewers of this podcast were going to be waiting to hear how your game plan played out?
No.
Oh.
No. I legit
it would have crippled me.
Yeah, I was excited after the last round was over. I was like, I can't wait to go on the podcast and talk about it.
Yeah.
That was a thing, but it was never like, oh, I need to like, I don't know. There was no like weird pressure from that. But so I mean, kind of like breaking everything down from game plan to actually incorporating it, like stepping up first hole of the tournament. The only nerves that I had really were like, I just like, I want to do well in this tournament. I know I can do well. I know when I talked to Feldberg and he asked like, do you think you're going to catch? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like that's a shoe in. Yeah. He was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I was a little bit taken back, like kind of like, oh, like really? Like that's
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not like, and I talked to him after the first round too, and he's like, not that I didn't think that I had it, not that I didn't think that I thought you didn't have it in you, but it's like you were gone for X amount of time, and I know yada yada yada. Very knowledgeable guy when it comes to this because I don't know, he's okay at frisbees.
Yeah, and he has a master's degree, and he's a teacher.
Yeah, all the I don't know things and stuff.
Whatever
and,
else.
I don't know titles,
Notable,
whatever.
notable things.
Yeah.
I heard one time he threw 5 discs very accurately at distance at Coldbrook in 1997.
Yeah, reliable source.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I played the first round. I was nervy, but after playing the round, I talked to you, and a lot of those nerves was very like that eureka moment of like, yeah, that's absolutely what it is. And what it was trying to be too perfect, trying to be like on this specific blade of grass.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's fucked or whatever. And I don't know why. Like the whole round, it was just kind of this weird micromanaging thing that my brain was doing that you kind of enlightened me to, Feldberg enlightened me to on another aspect of it. And after talking to both of you, I went into the next round. Like I was already feeling really good after this first round.
Yeah.
Still, like I shot 64. Like old me would have been like, why even play the next 2 rounds? Like you've already kind of shot both of your feet off, and you like hit and grazed your like upper thigh and forearm, whatever. Right. But now it's like, no, for sure. Like I just need to put up 2 solid rounds, like a pretty good one and a solid one, which I did, and like I got into the cash. I mean, like I think it was 440 for that cash or whatever.
Tight.
Yeah, nailed it. So a lot of micromanaging was going on, and then being like insane, like highly in tune with how my disc felt in my hand was what Feldberg was telling me about. And he's like, you're just like, you have these nerves kind of going, you have the want to do really well, and like everything matters essentially. Like if this is important to you, this is what's going on through like everyone's mind. Now it's just being able to manage that. And so when I was talking to him, it's like, so how the fuck do you deal with that? And he's like, basically just reps, but also like even still, like I'll get that, and it's just trusting that it's just like your brain is just like way up there and like super amped and everything, and just trust that like this is just how it feels in your hand. You just don't realize it. It's basically like white noise when you're playing a casual round, but now you're noticing all these little things that you've never noticed before. And I was like, okay, so into the second round for sure, I had that same hand feel like before for probably the first legitimately 3 holes, because it's like a really hard start, not necessarily 2, but 1 and 3 for sure.
Yeah, but 2, there's also like high risk. Like if you fuck up that first shot, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I didn't. And interestingly enough, on 2, I played
I
that
didn't, but
not not like everybody else, because I thought it was a different par or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, like I was able to learn to just trust that hand feel. Like I noticed it and I was like, I'm just going to send it type thing. Like I know that this is just how it is and whatever, and I'm just going to trust it. And like first shot off the tee, hole 1 went according to plan, and I was like, sweet, okay. And then I trusted it the rest of the round.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was playing all right. I made mistakes here and there, but it was more like, I don't want to say it was just me or like just the course, but I was like just a bit off to like not get myself into range for like putting. And so I was always in those weird spots of like, I could run this, but like it's also really risky, and I'm trying to stick to said game plan. And there was one instance where I kind of went not for broke, but like I'm going to try to do something that's like not according to plan, because I trusted myself enough to do it. And had I like, I had the power and everything right, I was just not the right angle. So hole 7, I wrote down, I'm going to throw Rock X3 off the tee, because that was like the one disc that I broke the making the gap thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I go and I hit the tree that I normally hit, but I hit like the tree that makes that weird little V. I split the V, hit the left tree on like the backside, and it popped me out right. And so I'm on top of the hill, but like just past it barely. So I'm gonna take like flippy D2, and I'm just gonna throw it up over those trees like on a roller angle and just hit it like as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Just see what happens. It did everything right. I just had it 2 inside, and it caught the tree line, and I just fell in there. Had an outlook, got out to Circle's Edge, but was right by the tree. So like my putt is typically pitch putt, so lots of up and down. I'm in a spot where I can't really do it, so I'm trying to like fire it there, throw my putt a little too high, hits the branch, knocks it down, hits the front of the cage, like fuck, 5. Like that's
Right.
kind of a dumb mistake. And that was like one of the things where I kind of veered off the path, that I didn't really shoot myself in the foot, because like I more so did that because I didn't feel too comfortable throwing like a sidearm around the corner or something where I'm actually bringing the OB more into play.
Yeah.
So I ended up just doing that.
And that's the danger on that hole.
Yeah.
Is if you cook it over too much, you catch that stuff on the
Yeah.
right, and that's the only like other
Real
than
thing.
OB. That's the only thing where
and
like,
I
you get
trusted
caught
there was
out.
enough area in there that I could like somehow get myself to a putt, which I was able to do, not capitalize on,
Right.
but whatever.
You got up and down though, didn't you, champ? Didn't get up and down.
Did not hit that. I found the only iron tree on the course.
Yeah.
Who would have fucking thought?
I think there's a few out there.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I mean, we can just. Do you want to go hole by hole? Like,
I was-
what do you want to do?
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
ask you some questions.
Yeah,
So
please.
you're standing up there. They announce your name,
Yeah,
and you're like, "That's right, bitches. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
The Retuna to greatness. I'm ready." And you're like, "Forehand? No, I'm gonna hold off. Hold
Yeah.
off on the forehand.
yeah. I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna wait."
Yeah.
So your first throw. I just want to go through that. Like, what number on your card did you tee off? And then what were you actually thinking when you were standing there at the top of the hill?
So first round of the tournament, I was second or third. I was second.
Okay.
Because it was, I think, Bino, then me, and then the other 2 guys. I can't remember who they were.
So you watch Bino tee off.
Yeah, and then
Do you already have your disc out?
yeah, because I already know exactly what I'm
Right.
throwing off of every pad, and even still, like the wind never changed enough to really change my thought process on most of the holes. There's a few holes where I did, but it was like 1 degree and more stability, so essentially the same disc though.
Right.
So yeah, like I already had, like as he's throwing, I'm getting my hand all chalked up and everything, all Nico'd out and
Yeah.
whatever. I got my disc like already. I already know I'm throwing this shot.
Right.
Like, and I threw the same shot all 3 rounds, and I did not try playing for birdie. Like I was, like if I had a look at it, I was running it for sure, but
Right.
I only had a look in the 3rd round. The first 2 was like, they also got progressively better because I trusted myself more and more.
Right.
So like the first time I'm like short of the stake in the ground, so like 110-foot up shot or whatever. Then the next round was more off to the right in like the long grass, so like sidearm up shot. Then the 3rd one, I was in circle 2 in like the bushy crap.
Yeah.
And then immediately as I knelt down, I put a hole in my knee because there was a stick with like this angry little thing on there that was so mad to not be a tree that he's like, I'm just going to go inside this guy's knee instead. Ran that putt, hit the front of the cage and whatever. And I was just like, as I saw where I landed, it's like, okay, like I feel obviously like really comfortable. And on that tee, the 3rd round was, I felt really good. Like
Yeah.
not many nerves still, but the first round, it was a lot of, I want my disc to be on this specific angle with like this specific power. And it was a lot of just that happening the whole time, which was like really kind of throwing things off and not letting me imagine what I'm trying to do and then just executing.
Right.
So
Right. You want your mind to be silent while you're actually doing it.
yeah.
And yours
yeah.
is still like
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit more.
still-
arm.
yeah.
Don't forget to do this.
A little
add,
bit, yeah.
Add a
And
little
then-
here.
And then when I got on the tee, like a lot of that kind of went silent, but there was still like, you hear someone yelling in the distance, like, did they say my name? Like kind of thing. Like that's the only way I can really
Are
describe
the fans
that.
here
Yeah.
finally? Did they find me?
Yeah, exactly.
So you let go of your drive on 1
Mhm.
first round,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
I watched it do its thing for about 70% of the flight, and then I Johanssoned it.
Yeah.
I just turned and walked to my bag.
What were you thinking? Like, nailed it or?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the sense of like, I'm just going to 3 this
Right.
for sure. Because that's exactly what I was going for on 1. Because again, like my sidearm is very whatever. It feels a lot better than it did like even really recently, but still like this just wasn't what I practiced.
Right.
So immediately like that takes me way out of comfort zone to where like even if I practiced it for sure, likely I would have thrown sidearm, but never practiced it for tournament. So that's out of the question.
Right.
Because I want high percentage chances of whatever. And then moving on to 2, I practiced that as a par 5.
Right. So how did your
So-
card do on 1?
Sorry.
Did everyone par it out?
Yeah.
first
so
round?
I watched no birdies
Yeah.
personally on my cards the whole time, and everybody three'd it. So we were even for 3 cards on
Right.
hole 1.
Right. Well,
which
it's like
is
really low percentage birdie anyways
Yeah.
until you get to the absolute top.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So you get to 2. You're still second on the tee pad.
Mm-hmm.
Bina rips off.
Yep.
And good?
Already know what I'm throwing. Yeah, he throws an okay shot. I think he threw sidearm actually, because again, like everybody else is playing as a par 4.
Right.
I'm playing it as a par 5, and before round 1 happened, I already knew that I messed up on just that. But even still, like taking a 4 on hole 2, I think is totally fine.
Totally fine.
Every time, and I fought it every time with like no pressure, no whatever, just like and 4.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, we talked about that before though. Like going through
Yeah.
taking the 4 on 2
Yeah.
and moving on to 3 in mental neutral
yeah,
is probably more beneficial than
yeah.
running all over the place. Maybe you get the 3,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you take a 5, and then getting on the 3 tee pad like,
Yeah,
all right, let's go.
exactly.
Where are we going?
Yeah, let's fucking send this.
Yeah.
So again, so my caddy book was basically PD2 hyzer, like half-ass it basically,
Right. Easy shot.
and then land at base of the hill. I still ended up probably 20 feet longer than I wanted to still, because that hill, like it starts going upwards like really far back actually.
Right.
But like I still felt comfortable on my second shot, and it was funny, like my first round, all my tee shots still felt like really lackadaisical, like really kind of whatever, and for some reason it was like, wow, like this guy's really not like trying, or like this is all he's got to like give it to do whatever.
Right.
Is kind of like how it felt like. That's kind of like what my backseat driver golfer was doing. So gets my first shot on 2.
You're
Throw.
like, this is what it feels like when Darren plays disc golf. That's all he's got? All right. Cool.
So second shot, I throw orange D2 every time. I throw
Yep.
pink PD2 on the tee every time. Orange D2 second shot. I throw high, like at mid tree, like up above the hill on Anheuser. And then basically, as long as I give it, I don't know, 50, 60% power, like it's just going up there in a spot where I feel comfortable throwing. And that as they cleared out like the right side up there. So even if I somehow cook it over there a bit,
Right.
as long
Yeah, it was
as
really
we
cleared
find
out.
it, yeah, and like usually I found it every time that I've gone over there. But even if I go over there and we find it, it's a really easy upshot.
Right.
There's not too much to navigate really. And then I was pretty much like same spot every single time I played that hole for the whole tournament, which was kind of funny, but also like really consistent. So, and the worst I saw in that hole, I think, was a 5 too.
Yeah.
The whole tournament, and I saw 0 threes, even
Yeah.
though there was a lot more threes there this year. And I was more surprised at how many more birdies, let's say, because I think there's more people practicing for playing for 3 versus, oh, it's a par 5, so a 3's an eagle, versus it's a par 4, now it's just a birdie.
Right. Just what we were talking about when you were doing the prep. Like once
Yeah.
you see people throw shots and you realize like, oh, that's only that far. Or, oh, you
Yeah.
can get here. Or, oh, you can get there. Then all of a sudden it makes it like, oh, well, I can do that. And so then instead
Yeah.
of the 3 being like this crazy thing, it's like you have a bunch of people like playing a game plan for 3.
Yeah, and after had I realized it early enough in practice, I would have practiced playing it for 3 every
Yeah.
time, for sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So I didn't like. I kind of wanted to like in the second and third rounds, but even still, is like I can't. It takes me like I can. As soon as I start thinking about doing that, I start getting really uncomfortable already. So it's like, well, that's not good, because now the percentage of hitting that shot is much lower. So the risk reward is very
Right. And that second shot then becomes,
one-sided.
yeah, it becomes a lot of different shots. There's a lot of different ways to go about like
yeah.
getting 15% up the hill
Yeah.
versus landing at the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
You're going to come at it from the right. You're going to, throw it straight to fade. Or you're going to, like all those things come into factor then.
Yeah.
Which you haven't thrown 12 times with a laser gun shooting backwards and all that. So you're like,
Yeah.
and you're playing for that stroke. And like we said last time, or at least like I said, like that early in the round, keeping your mental neutral is
Yeah.
probably as valuable as the 1 out of the 3 rounds that you're going to get that stroke.
Yeah.
Because then what are
absolutely.
you going to do after that?
Yeah. Then it's like, now it's you're as soon as you throw the shot out of your comfort zone, you're out of your comfort zone like
Right.
the whole time.
Yeah.
So
And it's hard to get back in your comfort zone 3, 4, 5.
yeah.
Like 6, maybe you can kind of settle in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right. So you,
Yeah.
you play out hole 2, you forward every round.
Yep.
So that all goes to game plan.
Yes.
Okay. Now you're getting to hole 3
Yeah.
and you're thinking, I'm going to fucking send it.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
more or less. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, I was feeling really good. I actually, it's funny because I remember talking shit about that hole when they made it OB on the left, and now they made it this whatever, yada yada yada. But after playing it X amount of times, I think I just like the hole better now
Yeah.
because it forces you to throw not this safe shot. Like your safe shot now is like
The mid
mid
range.
range,
Yeah.
like just straight down, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever. So I threw that blue FD every time. And again, each time it got better. Not once did I actually throw it to where it's like, oh shit, like really, like maybe like a smidge because it was like drifting, but as it's going to the right, it's actually like on hyzer. So as soon as it like gets enough, it's like, and it comes back.
Yeah.
I was able to do it every time, and again, it was like I got a little more down each round.
Right.
And even on that, for the first round, I was up there like I was kind of nervous, whatever, and then I was just like, I've thrown this already enough. I've climbed up this hill like back and forth in one day. Like I played that hole for probably 2 hours when I was in practice.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was like starting my throw, just kind of like went blank.
Yeah.
And then like still had like the dude off in the distance kind of or whatever, and still was just able to execute. I just didn't I gave it 100%, but instead of giving like 80% power, I gave it like 70, say.
Yeah.
Just because like I felt more comfortable in that space, and then still just like up the gut, whatever. Second shot, as long as I was in the like there's a dark patch of grass down there. As long as I'm somewhere in here and past, it would be like a mid range.
Yeah.
And then short of that would be fairway driver. That was kind of the reference that I had, because fairway or mid range from further back, much more difficult to execute, and a
Yeah.
lot more variables come into play.
And you got to put full tilt into it, and then
Yeah.
you bring in what if you come over on it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up in like the dark patch, and then every time it was like MD3 flat at this part of the hill at like this height or whatever, and then as long as I just commit to it, I'm gonna be in the circle like no matter what. Didn't throw it flat. I threw it on like a slight hyzer, exactly where I wanted to, and then I flirted with the left side OB. I was still in circle 2, and I wasn't nearly as close as I thought. Gave
Yeah.
it like a little bit of a run, like Nico spin putt, whatever. Hit the side cage, took a 4, fine. And then
Right.
the next 2 rounds I 3'd it. Like,
Yeah.
closer than me to you 3'd it, which was awesome because I did it better both times. I same disc off the tee both times, same mid range for upshot both times, just like within the bullseye range.
As you hit the putt for the 3, did you ever tip your cap to the pro beast off in the distance? You're like, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Got
A
it.
little salute.
I know you're still over there somewhere. 3.
Face.
All right, so that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That, 3 in that twice, and so you took the 4, what, first round?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's super solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very pumped about it. Like when I did it the second time, both times when I 3'd it, I thought my second shot was actually going to be longer than what it was, and it never was.
Yeah.
It was one of those like I just have to trust this. Like I've thrown this shot before at this power at whatever, and then both times when I threw, I was like, oh, that's going to be like long or whatever. But at least I'll like be putting in the circle, which is better than last time, which was like a much longer putt.
Yeah.
And both times it was like
Right
8
there.
feet, 6 feet, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then you went to 4,
Mhm.
and then for your game plan that we talked about before was hyzer over the pine tree, give yourself a little bit of a distance from the gaps, and then choose your shot, shoot it up at the
Yeah.
bucket, get to skip up the hill, take the 3. So how did the execution of that go? First of all, I wanted to ask you another question too, because
Yeah.
it kind of comes into play on hole 4, a little bit on hole 3, definitely on hole 1. What was it like being able to open up to both sides for the tee? Did-
I never used them, but it definitely, I saw on a lot of holes it opened up angles more.
Like hole
just
5 was a completely different tee shot because you could come off to the left and then throw.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those guys were throwing like stable forehand shots
Yeah.
up that gut to the skip to the basket,
Yeah.
which is not a thing from the tee pad.
And that's another hole where had I started getting more comfortable sidearm and everything and practiced that at all, probably would just be throwing that every time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, didn't.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't mind it, but I also would prefer if there was more of a standard tee pad for course, like I think there needs to be some sort of thing for that.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily what that is. I mean, maybe like just straight up this stuff, because this is always great. To me, it is.
Yeah.
Those tee pads, like as soon as like someone spits on it, it's like a slip and slide or
Right.
something. So I made sure I was the dude every time before everyone threw, whether I was first on the tee or last on the tee. I'm sweeping it off, just like one, common courtesy, and two, it's like a mental thing or whatever. Because for me, at least, if you don't want to use it, I don't care. But for me, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not blowing out anything. I'm not risking slipping and fucking up this shot or whatever, because that seems stupid. And I was actually surprised how many people I didn't see doing it at all.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you trust this? Like,
Not only that, the thing I find, because I sweep off pads all the time.
yeah.
The thing that I find is when I go to throw, my body's warm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because even in a tournament, like I guess there was a lot of waiting on the tournament, is what I had read online, at least, that people were waiting on tee pads a lot throughout the tournament. And I always find like I throw my shot, then I'm waiting, then I do an up shot, then I putt out. And sometimes by the time I go to drive again, it's been 15, 20 minutes since I actually like threw a full shot. And I always find just like that little sweep, like kind of
Loosens everything.
yeah, it keeps my body warm. And then when
Yeah.
I go to throw, I feel like I get a much more consistent throw.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you play with me, you'll be like, oh, I'll sweep that. And like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, no, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just because
That's why you do it?
yeah, because
Okay.
it kind of keeps me warm. And then when I go to throw, like I'm confident that my body's.
I always thought you were just telling me to fuck off in your own
Well,
subtle
that
way.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm like, you're not.
So it's both the reasons,
Yeah.
not just one over the other.
So you got to 4, you sweep off the pad, and you get ready. So how did your card do first day and then your other 2 days? So far you said you saw no 3s on 4, no 3s on 2.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously saw no 2s on 3, and
Yeah.
you saw no 2s on 1. So you're going into hole 4, and basically you're playing 3 cards every time they're shooting roughly the same stuff, unless somebody kind of had a fall apart.
Yeah, so 4 I've seen 3'd multiple times throughout the weekend. None of them which were me, sadly.
That's fine.
But I went 5-4-4.
So what happened on the 5?
The 5 was I went to inside on my hyzer. So I was, instead of being above that first pine tree, I was more left of it. And that left me a wide open gap. Like there was a shot up there. Just when I threw it, I thought I nutted it. I did not. I nailed the tree on the right side. I was like, fuck, that sucks. Now I need to get up and down. I throw sidearm up shots because like I can throw sidearm, but if it's like, if that's the shot that I need to throw and there just is no backhand or whatever, like I feel confident in putting all my eggs in that basket and executing. So I throw a harp sidearm, and I just didn't trust to turn it over enough. I had it turned over just not enough, so it hit the right side pine tree, and I landed like just outside of circle 2. And I didn't realize it until I got up there, because as soon as I threw it and I saw what, like kind of where it landed, I was like, I'll give this a run. Like I can give whatever. And then I get up there and I just said fuck, just because I knew I couldn't run it. It was too far. It was too dangerous and all that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take a 5. And then I saw Bino 3 it. He threw backhand, get lucky through the trees type thing. He's got a sidearm he can lean on, throws a zone up there. He's 5 feet from the pin for his 3. Great.
Yeah.
Nick Gill, who's on our card as well, he 5s it in a vastly different way.
Yeah.
He throws a really good tee shot. He gets up there in circle 2 or circle 3 for 3.
Yeah.
And then just proceeds to 5 it, like air ball, eventually makes it, whatever. It was like kind of tough to watch, but like,
Yeah.
at least the way, like there's 2 5s on our card, and mine was more consistent in some way versus one was very mental error-y type thing. And then
So are you shaking at that point? Are you nothing? You're just like
not even
little unfortunate break.
Yes.
Played it the best that I could.
Yeah.
But
and what else can I do? The
Right, you
shots
just
are already thrown.
Right. You recovered the smart shots. Took a 5. Move on.
Yeah. Because I mean, the shot eventually has to get thrown. If you fuck up, you fuck up. If you don't, great.
Right.
And you're gonna hole out eventually. And that was kind of the mindset that I had, is kind of similar to, I mean, I don't want to compare this to like working, but in a way it kind of is, because you have to go talk to a client or whatever, and you're like dreading it and not or whatever, but eventually you're just going to have to do it. Like that time's just going to come.
Right.
It's kind of the same here, where it's like, I'm on the tee, but I have to throw it at some point. So eventually I have to just be like, oh shit, and just hone it into like, all right, let's just send it type thing and just have a game plan for it. So I think a lot of that nerve management I can attribute to just practicing and throwing and doing all these things and having that mental prep, if anything, was super helpful, like a lot.
So you go on a 5. You throw from the tee pad, you said. And then what did you stick with the
same shot every
Mercy?
Time. Mercy every time. First round, where did I end up? Oh, okay. So I went 5-3-3 on that hole for the tournament.
Okay.
5 was super dumb.
Yeah.
Super dumb. So I throw 2 of my rounds. I throw 2 inside, which I never did in practice, which was super weird. I got like the height and the angle right, or so I thought, maybe too much angle or whatever. I don't know specifically, but I felt really good about the throws regardless. First round, I think I nicked a tree and I went right. And then I was like, all right, easy 3.
Yeah.
Throw a sidearm upshot with a harp. I land in front of the basket and it like rolls to like the far side where like nobody really ventures off of on circle's edge. Airball that putt, and then for my 4, I'm like 20 feet away still, and it's like fuck, like this is whatever. Like this was more of like, how did that happen? Like this is super dumb and whatever, but I'll make this putt. And then I hit like the pro side, but maybe like just outside of that pocket. So it brings into the play, how is the disc gonna fall? Is it going to fall this way or this way? Because one way is in and the other way is just out.
Right.
And it fell out. It like hit on the top flight plate on the nipple, but on the right side instead of the left. So it just scoops out right. It's like, that's a sweet 5.
Chainstar Pro.
Yeah. Nailed that shit.
That putt is either one on the outside is likely to bounce in or out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of chains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was sweet.
So your 3s, you just went to plan? How far out were your drives the second and third round?
Round 2 was kind of the same thing. Like I hit a tree, ended up somewhere short. I throw just like sidearm upshot, land in the circle, take easy 3. And then the third round was the one that was like, when I threw it, I think I audibly said, there it is. Like finally, whatever the fuck. And then I'm watching it go, and I'm like waiting for it to just like keep going and disappear, and then eventually it just starts coming this way. What? Like, okay. I mean, and we talked about that before. It's like that just can happen. I mean, it happened to Ricky, and Ricky got like my worst kick in practice in the tournament. So I'm slightly down the hill, and I just have relatively easy putter upshot, like sidearm anhyzer. Just as long as I hit this gap on this angle and give it this power, I'll be right there, which I did. All right, fuck it, 3. Like I would have liked to have at least 2'd it once the whole tournament, but whatever.
Everybody would.
Yeah. Yeah. So, way to go, Kevin and everybody else.
So you go to 6, and what was your game plan for 6? Are you shooting the Mando gap from last year? Are you playing it to the left?
Mando gap for sure.
Mando gap. Okay.
So on that hole, I played it differently than most of the others in the sense of like I'm just throwing something pretty aura stable at that Mando tree on like a slight turn at like a comfortable power that I'm not trying to like heave ho it down there or whatever. Right. So I throw orange D1 on slight anhyzer at that tree, and I get it every time. Like I'm on top of that hill with no like weird footing. And then my first round, what did I hit? I hit the gap. I went orange D1 off the tee all 3 rounds. My second shot was Opto Mercy all 3 rounds. And in the first round, when I throw my second shot, I thought I got it, but I was a little too high. So I was hoping for it to punch through all the iron leaves. Did not get through all the iron leaves and drop short of circle 2 yet again. And this one was more so like I could like kind of run this, but not really, and it's like kind of dicey. So like I'm pretty decent at like throwing a lofty spin putt, so I do that. Like maybe it'll trickle in or whatever, and as long as it doesn't give a dicey land like off of hitting that and then landing on the ground on whatever angle, like I feel comfortable with it. So I give it like a half go type whatever run, land next to the basket, take my 4, walk away. Because what else can you do? Like that's a risky shot. Like if I was in like halfway between circle 2, circle 1, I would have run it like full out.
Yeah.
But I was not there, so.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of hopes and dreams roll away on that
Yeah.
hill. Yeah.
Yeah. And I personally really like elevated basket there just because it brings that into play. I played with Willie Prince the second round, and he was in the same spot, and he's pretty known for being like a really aggressive putter. And I asked him, like, if that was just the regular basket, would you run it? He's like, yeah, all day. All day I would have ran that. Like, it would have just been a bullet at it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's interesting. Because I was just curious to see, like, how much it affects a lot of people, like, even super aggressive players, if it affects them that much or not, or what.
Yeah.
So
I love watching Willie's jump putt.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bell kick. Like, it's so good. Heels
Yeah.
together, knees out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Run it.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
All right, so you took the 4 first round, and then what'd you do second and third round?
Second round, I forwarded again. Again, like same-ish drive. And then my upshot I felt really good about, and it like stuck to my like pinky finger or something, misfire, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Was it too much chalk?
No.
Oh.
No, I know, thank
Okay.
God.
I'll go yell at that guy at REI.
Dude, seriously.
He told us it wouldn't be too
I
much.
know.
Yeah.
I pulled it right, so I hit the trees on the right of where I tried going through the leaves before, thinking, I don't know, maybe I can get through the tree easier than the leaves.
Right.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
Like that's just gonna lay up, take my 4 again.
Yeah.
Third round, basically same drive, throw same mercy, and as soon as I threw it, I was like, finally,
Got
I
it.
got it. Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I threw it, almost the same way as the first round, just not so high.
Yeah.
And I just gave it like a little more power because I know like it's basically throwing an uphill shot, and I'm throwing it lower with a putter, so it just needs more to like hit and skip forward a bit.
Yeah.
So like just short of a tap in basically, and then I felt really good about
Got
that
it.
finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, got it.
So you go to 7, and 7 we had talked previously about, different ways to approach it and kind of like the thoughts on the upshot and everything else. So you get to the pad. Did you throw the same disc every time?
Yes.
Okay. What was the disc that you threw?
Rock X3.
Okay.
Every time.
Every time.
Yep.
And
Because
you-
when I was throwing with Fred came out eventually for like the last 2 days of practice. I was really nervous about it because I didn't know if it was going to venture off into like something else. And I was like, I really like this needs to just be practice. And it turned out like it was really good. So I'm glad that it happened. I stayed on that tee pad for a while, trying to just figure out what I wanted to throw off of there, and found out to get to the hill everyone's trying to land on doesn't take much.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't get to where I got every time with that rock in practice, like even in practice, it was like, felt like 50% power, like flat. And I was like in the prime position every time to like easy 3, easy 3, easy 3.
Yeah.
But the first round was definitely the weird micromanagey, nervy, whatever. I do get through, but I hit the branch on top of the disc. So it like smacks it down and left. So
Did you go OB?
no.
Okay.
No, I wasn't close any of the times, thankfully.
I think it's funny that you say that on that tee shot, because I always fuck around with like a slower speed disc, because everybody always throws like their super stable like fast driver, and I'm always like, it kind of cuts you to the ground too fast, and there's not like a huge advantage, especially with the OB being up there on the left. Like you're more interested in like getting out and like falling over than like I'm gonna get over there. You know?
Totally. So, and that's probably something I never saw until like actually dissecting it and breaking it down and whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean, definitely, I mean, if you can get up there, and I saw drives like getting to that tree, the pine tree out there on the left side, where it's like, if you could pick up and just place your disc out there, you would pick there like every time.
Yeah.
But that's not how this works. So I throw
Otherwise, I'd take Simon's drive on 13 every time from first round,
hilarious.
where your upshot's a putter.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen it like in person, but
Yeah.
anyways. So first drive on 7 hits the tree, gets cut short. I throw glow buzz turnover, land in between circle 2, circle 1, and just kind of chump my putt a little bit. That was like one of the first ones throughout the whole tournament that in my brain I like doubted myself for like that split second and didn't mentally reset. I kind of like forced my way through that wall, and the wall still kind of stopped me. Instead, I should have just taken that step back just real quick and just reset.
Right.
But I mean, whatever. It's already done.
Yep.
So take, what was it? Take the 4, because I think it was 4-5-4 is what I did on that.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. It was something like that. I didn't 3 at any of the times, but I didn't get worse than a 5 or a 5 more than once.
So what happened on the 5?
The 5 was the second round, and that one, that's the one that I didn't make the gap. So I threw Rock X3 again. I hit the big tree on the left where it makes that V. I hit the tree. So I made through the gap. I still hit the tree like kind of on the backside, and it kicked me down right. So now it makes that big turnover shot basically a roller angle. And I was short enough to where it's like I need a distance driver if I want to get there. So I tried going all crazy with it because I was like, I honestly thought like I could at least get close enough to foring it and throwing an upshot basically towards the OB. Was kind of risky, and then the ideal would be throwing a sidearm. But here I still have a backhand and I have a sidearm. So now I'm leaning more on my backhand because sidearm, no real practice with it for like the course. So I'm like, I'm just going to like try to pump one up there. I know I have the power for it. I know I have the angle for it, whatever.
Yeah.
Throw yellow flippy D2, try to throw up high, don't get wide enough, and I hit the top of the trees. And I fall into that weird little gully of trees where there's not really anything there. Do you need a second?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I got work stuff too.
Yeah,
I have a life besides this.
I
So yeah, we were talking about like that's on the upshot. You can kind of like get it up, get it over, and basically as long as you're going right, you're good.
Yeah.
Unless
you
land it. Unless that happens.
Yeah. So I land in there. I have a window that's fairly wide open. Throw putter sidearm through there because anything else is basically landing short. That at least gives me an opportunity to make a 4 save. The other one is guaranteed 5. So I throw it, make the gap. I'm just hoping like I'm at circle's edge and like have a clean putt, get up there. I'm at circle's edge with an iffy putt just because of how I putt, and I'm under that tree. So I know when I line up, I have to like kind of fire this through, and I do just that, but still like the leaves and stuff just kind of knock it down a little bit, hit the front of the cage, 5.
Right.
And then the third round, throw rock again off the tee, hit the same branch, and it kicks me like down and left again. But I'm like far enough left where I'm probably 5 feet from the OB. And then it was like the cleanest second shot look that I had, but I was still short of where I was practicing. So I wasn't sure I could get putter there, even though like I'm sure I could. I just didn't practice it. So glow buzz, turnover, thought I had it turned enough. Turns out I still didn't have it turned enough. End up on circle's edge. So like still like a great shot, have an opportunity for a putt.
Right.
And then just doinked the putt. Like it wasn't even like a mental lapse or whatever. It felt good. It just not enough power behind it, not enough pop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So 4, 5, 4, whatever. No birdies, 1 bogey.
Right.
Whatever.
So you go on 8, big hyzer shot. What? Where are you teeing off on your card first round on 8?
On 8,
because 8 was kind of the windiest day, right? I mean, the first day was kind of the windiest day.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the days was the most windy out of all the times I played it for practice and like tournament or whatever. Yeah. I'm not first on the tee. I think I'm second or third on the tee.
Okay.
So like I watch some shots or whatever, but I don't really base any of my shots off of like what they're doing. I'm just sticking to my game plan, and I know what I do because I know how I throw is different than they throw, and discs are just going to react differently for them versus me.
Yeah.
So I throw.
Well, their arms are shorter.
Yeah. Sausagey.
I don't even know why they're out there.
Yeah. So I throw PD2 off that hole every time.
Yeah.
And one of the rounds, all right, I 3 it every round. I have a look every time, and the closest look I had was like center cut, looking straight up at the basket at circle's edge. Missed that putt, and then the other ones were just kind of iffy. No, I had 2 putts, and then one was just an out shot because I was left in the shit with literally everybody else in my card.
Yeah.
First run was the one that was my best drive, and I missed that putt off to the right. And then second round, I ended up left with everybody on my card, and all of us off the tee threw it like different ways and this and that, and we were all probably within like 15 feet of each other on the left side.
Yeah. But not in that magic tunnel that's over there where you got that clean shot
not
to the
that
bucket.
one.
No.
Nope. And then third round.
Another tunnel, not so magical. Maybe you've heard of it. It exists in Fucktown.
Yeah. So the third round, like if you're facing that the green, I'm more off to the right, just like probably 5 feet out of circle's edge.
Yeah.
Another one where it's like I feel really good running this, and again was just like off to the right a little bit, thinking that it would hyzer out more. And
So
then,
you didn't have the ante putt in. You had a straight shot at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's fortunate.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Didn't
same.
realize how much tailwind that we had, because after I threw it, it's like it didn't hyzer enough, and so like why'd I pitch it so far right? And then I realized how much tailwind we had, so the disc is just gonna go straight. I should have just pitched it there, but whatever.
Right.
Getting a 2 on there, I mean, at least for me and mortal humans or whatever, like
Yeah, it's
kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, I was gonna
type
say it's like a
deal.
crackerjack
and,
shot.
and even still, like it is for all the other guys. Like
Yeah.
Kevin's just got that one honed in
Yeah.
with green, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're almost back to like playing states against people that aren't very good disc golfers. They just know like blue disc on this hole at that tree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right where I want to be. You're
Yeah.
like, what disc is that? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, why do you throw it that way? Because it lands where I need it to.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now you're at Pro Tour and he's like, this green guy, I throw it up over there. It's right
Yeah.
at the basket.
Yeah,
it's magic.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you get to 9. We had talked about and dissected the approach to 9 and kind of how we thought about it. And then I've seen
Yeah.
some video coverage.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a better approach to
Yes.
9 that you could like hit the pin with.
Wish I even thought of throwing a roller on that hole.
Yeah.
Wish I would have.
I never thought of it.
Me either.
I don't throw rollers, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, I throw some rollers.
Yeah.
I'm okay at them sometimes. Like I feel confident enough that had I practiced that or even thought of just, let's just do it for the fucks,
Yeah.
I for sure would have like done that.
Yeah. That seemed like the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Changed the game.
Yeah. So like even I played with Brody on the third round, and he threw roller on that, and he's got like power and all that, and still where he ended up with how bad it was, like it was way off to the left, and he was up over the hill, and still like had he brought that more inside, it for sure would have been putting like circle 1 easily.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just one where it's just like I thought I.
Yeah. How did I not think of
Yeah,
that?
exactly. So I 3'd it every round with like relative ease.
Did you have a legit putt at it any of the rounds?
But 2 rounds.
Okay.
2 rounds I was at circle's edge, just running the putt or whatever, and it was like off the cage. And then I think it was second round I was just a little further outside where it was just chump the layup, whatever. And yeah, that was the only thing that I could think of after doing that. Like again, I stuck to game plan. Even I saw the coverage after the first day and I was like, roller, what the fuck? Like why didn't I think of that? So on and so forth. But even still, like I stuck to my game plan because didn't practice roller at all. Don't know how I want to throw roller disc on that hole, so I'm not even like considering trying it. So next time it rolls around.
No pun intended. God, that was masterful.
Yeah.
Are you a dad? All right. So you go on to 9 from there.
Yep.
Tricky hole.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
You mean 10?
I mean 10. I'm sorry. Yeah.
10, I stick to game plan. Orange D2 up high over middle tree on like big turnover.
Yeah.
And I go 3-2-3 for the tournament.
Good.
Yeah. So, and the third round I had a look too, but that became dicey on the card. So first round, I don't remember what everyone else did. I think we all 3'd it on there, and nobody had a look for 2 or something like that. Mine got 2 turned over, but I still ended up. Where did I end up? I think on like the green, but like on the short side or whatever.
So over the gully.
Yeah, over the
Okay.
gully. Like easy upshot, take the easy 3 because man, that's a tough one to run outside of the circle.
Yeah.
Second round parked like 5 feet from it or whatever.
Dope.
And then the third round I land in the gully at circle's edge. Brody goes first. No. Ryan or Brian, I can't remember. Guy from Illinois.
Yeah.
He goes first. He hits the cage and it rolls. He's putting from where I'm at,
Yeah.
basically, but like a little further out.
Yeah.
Hits the cage and it rolls into the gully, but like more where the bushes are. So now it's like
Dicey.
super fucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hits the cage and rolls away down like the steeper part.
Yeah.
and then pitches up and like hits the pole and then like did the weird like death wobble and then sat down. But like that death wobble, like even I was like, what?
Whoa.
Like, dude, seriously, like
Yeah.
Even when all of them happened, I was like, I
I gotta
don't
pee
want
again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're leaving this in here.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Dude, I'm trying to hold on. You got 80 spots on this hole.
Do you want me to have less thoughts?
No.
Okay.
I just need a toilet in my seat.
Do you want a catheter?
Yeah, I need a stadium, buddy. I just was in the car all day drinking.
Yeah.
I'm very hydrated. Now that I know this is left in, I'm trying to hurry.
And we're back.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. I drove home from Ludington this morning, and
I'm
I've
still
been
leaving this in.
drinking in the car the whole time.
You might need a pee break when you're watching this with Gabby later.
So I watched podcast number 3, and I text Zach instantly, and I'm like, dude, you left the bathroom break in there? And he's like, people watching it are probably going to have to go to the bathroom, too. Like, you can't just pause it. Like,
Don't worry about it.
they have to watch it start to finish. All right, so guy putts, hits the thing, rolls all the way back.
Yeah, so he gets 2 bad
Right.
rolls.
And now you're
eventually fives it.
Yeah.
And then Brody goes up next, and his hits and rolls into the gully too, and then throws his next putt, and it like was again dicey, but like still
Stuck.
it's stuck. So he fours it, and then I get up there, and so like the initial thing was like, all right, like I got a little nervous, but more so because like how easily they were wanting to roll away. It legitimately didn't affect how I was wanting to putt that, because it was like I'm just running this. And I'm aiming at the like the belt at the top. I'm just gonna pitch it right there. Still was not high enough. Still like hit the cage
Standard.
and just like smacked
Died.
to the ground. I was like, God damn it! Like so close. Whatever. Tyler Horn birdies it.
When
Cool.
it hit the cage and then hit the ground after their dirty rollaways, did you make an audible noise? Were you
I think I just told
"Ha!"
it. I think I just told it to sit.
Yeah.
Like I threw it and then it hit the cage. I was like, just sit.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Like please.
Did they tell theirs just to sit?
No, they didn't. Man, God. Amateurs.
Yeah. Get it together.
Yeah,
This is
seriously.
Pro Tour.
Seriously. So I felt good about that hole though. It's like I for sure wanted at least 1-2 on that, and
Yeah.
I felt really good about getting a 2 on there because hole 9 was like just kind of whatever. Again,
Right.
like probably for sure roller. If I got that dialed in, would be like, yeah, at least 1 round it's gonna be a birdie. So, but this hole was that at least 1 round will be a birdie.
So when you're throwing 10, the second one, and you just pure it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's like the exact shot you had in your head,
Yeah,
flew the exact way.
yeah.
What was the difference between that one and the third round? Because obviously third round you're stepping up there confident, like
Power.
yeah, you just didn't get enough on it.
Didn't hit it hard enough.
Yeah.
Like I got it. I got the angle and everything right. I just didn't give it enough power, or maybe it was like the wind was slightly different, but that's more so what I felt like what
Okay.
I could have done for it.
Yeah.
But even still, like audibly, Tyler Horn was like, "Oh, that looks titties."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, yeah,
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, just it ended up a little short, but I was still happy with it because I'm still putting. I'm still
Yeah.
at the circle. So
Yeah, and you got
But
nothing really in your way.
yeah,
You just
exactly.
gotta avoid the death roll, and you'll be fine.
Yep.
All right, so now you're going into 11.
Yeah. 3-3-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything weird?
No, and that was another hole that was played a lot more differently than I thought. Like watching Kevin and Nico and I forget who else. I think Conrad as well. And Willie on my card too. Because I was asking him like what he thought of it. He's like, oh, it's like such an easy like hyzer flip hole, yada yada yada. Never I kind of did, but not how they were throwing it, like where they were throwing their shots for hyzer flip. I was like, I should have just trusted to like hug that left side tree line more up high and then just hit it up there.
So how is that different than what we were talking about? Because I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's
Because
like
you weren't
a feel thing. Like
you weren't throwing the hyzer flip.
yeah. So like when I was doing it, I was definitely pushing like the right side tree line. Like I'm trying to like wall ride the tree line with like the bottom of the disc facing there versus bringing that way more inside.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was like a really weird thing. And then I also had like the mental picture of like this is just like a really hard one to like get into like putting circles. So like watching them get 10 feet from the basket was like, oh, all right. Like,
because when we were talking before about it being the same shot as 9,
yeah,
it's just that straight shot. So
Yeah.
on that shot, it'd just be like, in my mind at least, like that's what I try to do. I just don't have the power for it.
Yeah.
It's just like hyzer flip it up to the right of the left tree, have it go up and then fall in.
yeah. But when I'm throwing 9, I'm not throwing hyzer flip. Like I'm throwing like stable over stable on like a slight anhyzer type thing. So like
Okay.
the way I was throwing both of those, I am throwing the same shot,
Yes.
just not.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I was just seeing it differently in my mind.
Yeah. So I threw that all 3 times. I threw the orange D1 twice and the orange D2 once. And I think, what was it? It was the 3rd round. I threw orange D1 and I just cooked it over, kind of like I did before. I was kind of like in that weird spot of like, I want to like go for it. And that was probably like my one slip up of like, I want to like do that
this.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
but like not so much. So I think I talked myself back of it and my body's like, we're still going to kind of do it though. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I pulled it over and I trusted to do it because even over there, it's like everywhere that I've been over there, I've three'd it. So I hit the tree and I landed and like, I said, oh, that's an easy 3. And it wasn't like trying to hype myself up. It was
Right.
legitimately like, that's an easy 3.
Right.
Throw my upshot, and I got way cleaner than I thought I would. So I was on like the far side of the circle, like 25 feet, so like tester range. And like for a split second, I was like kind of nervous, and then I like stepped up to it, and like everything just kind of like went dark or like silent, and like made the putt. It's like, okay, sweet. But yeah, 3s every round on that hole.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then what about at that point, right? You get like a little, because there's almost always a wait on 12.
Mm-hmm.
So did you wait on 12 a little bit each round?
2 of the rounds.
2 of the rounds.
The first round we sailed
just
through
wrapped
everything.
right over.
No weights
problem.
on anything. Yeah.
Okay.
It was actually really sweet. The next 2 rounds there was like a 1 card wait, but by the time we got there both times, they were like already walking down the hill. So
Okay.
it was like a relatively short wait for something like that. We weren't up there with they're waiting on the card ahead of them and then they tee off and then we're waiting on them and it starts like
Right.
piling up. We
So-
never got that.
At that point in my head, after 11, I'm always thinking like, here we go. Right. Because then like 12, I basically am playing for the 3, getting to the 3. I rarely bogey that. And I've never two'd it. I've had putts and then I just get like, oh my God, I'm going to 2 this right off the cage. But I'm thinking like 12 is an easy 3, 13, I'm going to take a 4. And then it's like go time, right? Like now I'm going to fucking make runs. But obviously you're dealing with a different skill set than I am. So I'm thinking like, as you're coming up after 11, are you thinking now like, all right, let's fucking do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely a scoring, like not easily, but like you can.
That's where you're going to score.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might
So-
do something amazing on the first 9, but definitely after 11, it's like, all right, if I'm going to do this, now is the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got on 12 and I stuck to my game plan. So I got Yellow Mercy back as I was walking up to my first round from, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Mr. Cup.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I was wondering like when I would get it back and then like, oh, hey, yada, yada, got it back. So I throw that instead of orange. I didn't throw orange at all because fuck
Right.
you, orange. It's all about yellow.
Right.
So I throw the first shot. So the first round was high and short. So I just didn't get enough on it, didn't commit it, didn't hit it hard enough, whatever. But I got it high enough in the sense that I made it over the left trees. But as it's like coming over, it wasn't far out enough because I didn't give it enough. So it hit the tree in the middle and just fell, but on the other side.
Yeah.
So easy upshot, whatever.
That's where I drive to. That's
Yeah.
where I'm trying to get. Like I hope for a miracle that like it sneaks through there, but basically I like throw the turnover into the backside of that tree to fall into the alley for then an easy up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So second and third round, Rob was the spotter on hole 12. Shout out Rob.
Shout
Because he's
out.
like one of the best, most entertaining spotters.
One of the best people in the
Yes.
game. Yeah.
Second
Did
round.
he give you a statistical printout on your shot
He
as you were
should've.
walking
I
away?
know. Rob, I expect this next time. The second round, throw the same shot, same spot.
Yep.
Made sure to like hit it like real good this time because I didn't want to be as short as before and just trusted that if it goes flat out there and it's just going to start falling right. And like I do it and I take a knee because I thought I nailed it and then it just goes Like I throw my shot, and as I'm spinning, I just drop to a knee because I'm just like watching it because I'm like, please, please, please,
Yes.
just get through, because I already know I'm throwing a lucky-esque shot.
Right.
Like I've done the first half. That's all I can control. Does it get through all the fucking trees? I can't control that with what I'm throwing. So hit the tree that's above the rocks, and I fall short and left. So then the third
Short and left?
yeah, so it hits the tree, kills all its power, and it just punches or like smacks it off to the left side. So like if you're in the gap, I'm just on the left side in like the middle-ish area. I throw a sidearm up, easy 3. I 3'd it all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And then the third round, I do the same thing, and I brought it a little more inside, thinking that maybe I can get it on the further side of the tree where there's more of an opening. And again, like I thought I got it, and then just didn't. He's like,
Did you take a knee again?
no.
Did you lay down?
No. I should have laid down. Started chasing it.
Look at it go.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought I got that one too. And then I saw, like, I wasn't surprised that it hit and just landed on the left side, a little further up, but again, easy sidearm, upshot, whatever. And then I talked to Rob, and it's like, so what the fuck did I hit? Like, was it this tree or this one? He was like, it was this one. Like, you had the line this time, he told me. It just got unlucky or whatever. And I was like, fuck, because, like, that would have been sweet to get it at least one of the times, but I was playing for 3 every time. And that, again, is a hole where you have a good sidearm with, like, distance and everything, angle control. Like, you can give yourself a better opportunity because you can bring it lower
and play
where the
skip.
gap is giant.
Right.
To where you hit your line. Now you're not praying to the fucking luck gods in the sense of like getting through trees. Now it's just like skip, please.
Right.
Unless you get like Kevin Jones in the third round where he peers the shit out of it and then it just hits and stops right where it hits.
Velcro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel on the forehand because you'll get like a skip and then like the ground just goes away from you. So that skip then just carries it out into that opening. You got a pot.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. So yeah, I always look at 12 for me at least as like I'm just going to take the 3. I try to get my shot, hope for the lock. If not, you're somewhere where you can get up and down. Even if you turn it over, the only way around that hole, I think you're totally fucked if you just go straight into all that stuff. But besides that, over
Grant
the
Ward tried that.
Who?
Grant Ward tried going like, well, not straight in the sense of like
but
straight and then a right. He went like straight at the basket and it hit the tree like 40 feet off the tee pad.
Oh, that like dead one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because I've thrown it straight at the basket.
Yeah.
Hyzer flipped straight at the basket, and it went all the way through, and it's the only time I ever made it into the opening.
Yeah.
It literally just like hyzer flipped, like went down into those trees. It didn't hit a thing. And then I saw it cut back left, and I was in the opening, and then I caged the putt. But
I was very surprised that Ricky threw a roller on that hole.
I didn't see it. I haven't watched all the coverage. Roller.
Spoiler alert: he throws a roller on that hole and not a sidearm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Very.
Did it work out?
Kind of. He didn't do it, but like.
Yeah.
He had a good line on it or whatever, but still like.
So
Ricky,
I've seen.
Throwing...
I saw Elijah throw like the big Annie up over all the trees,
mm-hmm.
and then it faded back, and he was like 15 feet from the bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking like when all the big guys were coming that like somebody would do that. I don't know if anybody did or not. Like I said, I didn't watch the coverage, but when he did it, 1, I didn't know that he had that much power to him, and 2, I thought he fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I saw him, I think he was throwing a Zeus. I saw him like on the tee pad and he had a Zeus, and I was thinking like, I don't know that I've seen him throw too many forehands.
Yeah.
And then I saw him like line up and rip a fucking like Sky Anheuser, and I was like, wow, that's dumb.
Seems like a really risky low percentage shot.
Yeah.
Like I think it's there. Like I've fucked around and tried it, and like I haven't gotten there, but like where I've ended up with how I've thrown it with the power or whatever is like it's totally doable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like
if it goes bad, it goes bad.
Yeah, it goes very bad. Yeah, like the good is great.
Yeah. But the bad
is more so. And where do you go from there? Like where is it at? Where is it gonna go?
All right, so you come out of the opening there. You're walking out to the field, sweat off a couple pounds real quick as you wait to tee off and then play 13, climb that hill, climb back down the hill. So you get to 13 and you stick to the game plan. You just throw to the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
All 3 rounds.
All 3 rounds.
How close were your drives all 3 rounds to each other, or it didn't matter to you?
The first round I wanted it to be where I was landing in practice. So the first round I fucked up. And I ripped it over right. I tried I don't know, like overpowering an anhyzer on a disc that like if I gave it like this with that much power, it's like it's just gonna hold it and eventually come out, but not here where I'm throwing it. And then I ended up hitting in between the first and second flags on the right on the hill, fortunately, because it popped it back left.
Okay.
So I'm short of where I was landing by probably 80 feet or so. And then I throw PD2 up there and I land like crest of the hill. And then I just throw upshot for a 4 because it's like where I'm going or where I landed was not,
Right.
it was a long, long putt, if that, or like just short of a throw in. And then same from where I was at, I didn't feel comfortable enough giving it all this extra whatever stuff to try to get up there because I wasn't sure what I needed from there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I chalked it up as soon as I threw that tee shot. I was like, I'm playing for 4, like automatically,
Yeah.
unless I have like, I landed some crazy spot where I could possibly try to 3 it. Like I'm already in my head, like I'm just going for 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
So would you shoot on all 3 rounds?
I think it was 4-4-3
Yeah.
is what it was.
So when you got it on the 3rd round, where'd your drive land and how'd the upshot go?
My drive landed center, so same distance where I was in practice at base of the hill, but more centered.
Okay.
And then second shot every time was still PD2 flat, like at the dead branch above whatever the ski hill sign. And the second one I just made sure to do that, but I threw it a little flatter because I was more centered, and I wanted to be more left instead of on the right. I'm throwing more of an anhyzer and having it fall. And as soon as I threw it, and I watched where it went past the hill, I was like, sweet, like I'm in the circle, if not parked. And for sure, when I got up there, I was like 6 feet from it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Got
like,
it.
Finally.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. And that was a whole going into like before practice, like just in casual rounds where I was like, threeing this is like, wow, like to me or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I still live in that world.
Yeah.
I've never 3'd it.
Yeah. But like, I thought it was, I don't know, like
Crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the big guys did it, but like for me, I thought would be like a wow moment. But
Yeah.
after watching other people throw it with me, and after I did it with Fred, that was the last hole that him and I were practicing on like the second to last day, where it's like, okay, this isn't as crazy. Like there's that nostalgia thing still because like tee shot, how far up the hill are you going to get type thing. Simon still lives in that world, I guess. But
that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I watched this drive land and I was just like, what?
Wow.
And then everyone else is lining up all these shots. KJ is like way off to the right.
Yeah.
And everybody's like lining up these shots. And then they finally get to Simon and he's standing there with a putter.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
So like I want that. There's like some weird thing in me where it's like I still think I can get like up there.
Right. Elite distance.
I need to practice because like that was one thing that I was noticing still was like how much practice I don't put into my form, and I figured out what I do when I mess up shots or why I don't get power transfer or why it doesn't look like I'm throwing as hard as I do or like as I feel like I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with my shoulders beating my arm. So like they're kind of matched, but like my arm lags behind or whatever. But anyway, so 4-4-3 on that hole. Feel pretty good about it.
All right. So then you step up to 14.
Yep.
Let's do the last round. So you just got a 3 and you're thinking like, fuck yeah, here we go. I'm bombing.
Yeah.
Let's go. So you throw on 14. What are you throwing?
Rock X3.
Okay.
All 3 rounds again.
How wide?
Basically just left of next tee pad.
Okay.
Like if you're just looking straight down or whatever. And then
So not that wide.
not super
not like
wide.
a super wide.
No.
Okay.
Pretty flat, like slight hyzer, and basically just flat out too.
Yeah.
So I went 2-3-3 on that hole. So like last round, I knew that I got the shot that I wanted, but I also knew I put it too flat instead of hyzer. More hyzer would have gotten me closer to the basket. This got me gliding straighter for longer and then hyzered out. So I was still in the circle, but I was on the far side where there's that dead pile of whatever that's there just for funsies.
For you.
Yeah. Fucking nailed it.
Here you go.
So I step up to it. It's like, okay, sweet. Like I have a putt at this. And that was like some sliver of doubt in there, like randomly, and I took like the mental step back and then stepped back into it, so I felt like legitimately really good. And as soon as I threw my putt, the disc didn't react how I thought it was going to react, and it just like stayed high, and the wind just held it up in the air, and then it skipped off the top and just landed. So I had like another 20-footer or something, made that putt, and that was like a fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was more upset that like I didn't get that putt, because I already knew like I just got this 3, and I feel really good about these holes coming up and whatever.
Right.
So yeah, 1 down on that hole, I didn't feel so good about. That was a hole I was like, I'll for sure be like 2 of 3 or something,
Right.
likely even 3 of 3, just because of how consistently I've thrown that shot with that same disc and where it's been like every single time. But
So the guys you're
You know.
playing with on that hole, did you have anybody that you're playing with that just like pured it and it was right down there? Because it's a weird shot a little bit. Like it's not a lucky shot, but it's like a weird shot. Because
Brody pured it in the 3rd round.
okay,
He threw a Malta. I'm pretty sure he threw a Malta, like a brown poopy looking thing or whatever, but it
yeah,
flew really nice, and it got through the gap. And as I was watching his shot, I was like, that's just going to be good, because he's basically throwing the same disc that I'm throwing.
yeah,
And he thought he was going to be short or whatever, but I saw it flash through like that weird little window you can see down there.
yeah.
And it flashed through there. I was like, that's going to be like in like the 15-foot circle, and he
Yeah.
was about 15-ish feet. And then I don't think Willie tooed it from like 5 feet, and then I think Nick Gill tooed it as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't see very many 2s on that whole person, like throughout the tournament with the people I was playing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just wonder, out of the cards that you're playing on, like how many of the 2s like hit some stuff and fought through and ended up in a good spot versus like straight out of the hand, right to the ground, right by the bucket.
Yeah.
You know, because like I've tooted a whole bunch of times, and only like a third of the times that I've tooted it was like from my hand to the ground.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's like, oh, I hit that line. Is it going to, it's like the
Yeah.
drive on 12, same thing. Like I hit it
Yeah.
where I wanted it to be. Is it going to catch something?
A little
that's-
less luck, but there's still that element.
Yeah,
there.
a little bit. But
Yeah.
there is a clear shot to it. I just
for
wonder
sure.
like how many people are like, yeah, this is it. This is going to just go from my hand to the ground,
Mhm.
because it's kind of, I don't know. All right. So you go to 15. The plan was to go big.
Didn't
Did
go big.
You didn't go big.
When I was practicing, I tried it, and literally like the first 4 rounds of me trying to go big, like distance driver off the tee, just fucked up every shot.
Okay.
And so immediately I was like, so this could just be what happens. I don't like that. This feels really uncontrolled, really sporadic, really like whatever the hell this is. So I got mad. I went to my cart, pulled a putter out, Opto Mercy, and I threw it like I was throwing hole 5, like that angle, that power. And I hit it perfectly. I got on like right height, right angle, got past the tree on the right side, and I was down the hill probably like 30 feet from the tracks with a putter.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? So
Yeah.
like realistically, this hole is probably just reachable, but even still, it's like, if this is my safe shot, I feel more comfortable throwing putter. Immediately I was like, I'm gonna practice putters now. I'm immediately going away from no sidearms, no distance drivers, fairways, whatever, because that was the thing. It was either going to be like fairway or distance driver, and those immediately got like scratched off.
Okay.
And it's just going to be putter. So I was throwing those. I lost one in practice, which was really unfortunate. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was real sad.
Would you lose?
One of the Opto Mercies, like one of the newer ones that I just got, which like it more so sucked just because it's like now I only have 1 to throw. I only had 2 to begin with,
Yeah.
but now it's like I throw the shot, Fred's down there, gives me thumbs up or not, throws it back, and just back and forth like that.
Yeah.
And I eventually got it dialed into like what I wanted to do, and I was able to execute. So I think it was 4-4-3 is what I did on that hole, and the first round was not so good. I ended up leaving it 2 inside, and then was able to get like down into circle 2, and then that was like a rough one to try to run because it was like a little short down the hill. Or no, I was on the far side. I was actually flirting with OB. Then the second one, I hit the tree that I wanted to get around on the right side through glow buzz because I felt really good about, I'm just going to fucking send it up there because this is going to go past OB this way. And even if I come up short, like and land in there, or I go off to the right too much, like easy up and down. But then best case scenario is it gets through and I land in the circle, which I did. I was like, dude, that's fucking sick, because I was really pinched off and it was a really difficult shot. And then that was another putt where I like had that weird sliver of doubt in myself, instead of like what I know, like if we're going out playing ourselves, like I'm just making this putt and I feel really good. There was like, what about this, that, whatever.
Right.
So I left that literally like an inch short of like birdieing that. And then the last
Common on that hole though.
Yeah.
That putt.
Yeah.
Be like an inch short.
Yeah. And then the last round, I played it like perfectly how I played in practice, just putter, like 20-foot putt. Yeah. And then got that 3. I was like, all right, sweet.
Yeah.
And then the next shot. So for 16 now, it was the same thing as before. Like that tee shot reminds me very much so of the second shot of the previous hole, just in how it's being thrown, what disc I'm throwing, and what needs to happen basically. And I go 3-3-2 for the tournament. First 2 rounds, I don't really know what happened the second round, because I don't know, I just grip locked it for whatever reason. I messed up. The first round was definitely more micromanagey, and I hit the tree short of the path on the right side, and it just drops it onto the path. So like, just get up and down for 3, champ.
Right.
And then the third round I threw it, and I just immediately knew like that's just in the circle. And I think I went finally, like again for like X amount of time for the tournament,
Right.
just like straight down the middle, whatever, and then watched everybody else just kind of like be a little off left and right. And yeah, that just felt really good.
Did you take a knee?
No,
Oh.
I should have.
I've never seen this knee.
Really?
I gotta see it.
Yeah, I did it. I did it one of the rounds in 7 too, but that was more so like in my follow through. It was just really easy to kind of like get to it. I think it was the third. Yeah, it was with Brody. So third round, I threw the shot, and like as I come around, I just fall to my knee, because again it was like, please just be really good. And then I was like, oh, because I landed like circle's edge, because it was just too stable and I didn't give it enough angle or whatever. I'll try to give more knee shots.
I do the walk to the side.
Yeah.
If I throw something dope, then I just walk off to the side so everybody behind me can see it. I did that at Bald Mountain.
Yeah.
Through a drive. I was like, this fucker's in. Walked off to the side so the guy behind me could see it. Then it dropped and hit the pin right below the basket. I did it on that video that I sent you at Cass for that tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the drive. I was like, that's in. Walked off to the side so you guys could see it. Hit the pole. Like, whatever. I just want to make sure you guys can see what's going on up here.
That's amazing.
All right, so 16, you get 1 out of 3 times, which isn't bad, because that's dicey.
Yeah.
And then you get to 17.
Yeah.
All right, so what goes on at 17? What's the wind?
So
how are you feeling?
17.
What are you teeing off on the card? What do you watch before you throw?
So I go 4-4-3.
Okay.
And one of the 4s, I was actually OB off the drive. So I was super pumped to get that 4 from where I was at. So third round, I was the only 2 on 16. So I'm top of the card. And this is where it starts getting windy. And this was like this was my first kind of like, oh shit moment, where I was like kind of bouncing around back and forth between.
And you're also on fire at this point.
Yeah.
For that round. You're finishing up kind of on fire.
Yeah. So I'm going back and forth between like, do I want D1 or D2? And I went OB with the D2, but I know D2 is the one that's going to like hold a little longer. And eventually, like, I hype myself up, like, this is what I practice, this is what I'm used to, and if I'm going to mess up, it's going to be off to the right and not bitched out off to the left in OB. So I'm going to aim at this tree on, like, this slight anhyzer and just give it, like, 80% something, and then just watch it go. And, like, I got there with, like, it felt like relative ease, like I was just short of that tree.
Yeah.
But as soon as I threw it, or like as I'm walking up to the tee pad, like there's obviously that nervousness because there's all this wind, there's all that, like I'm on fire or whatever, and I don't want to go OB. And then again, like as soon as I line up everything and I start my run up, like again, just everything just kind of like washed away, and I just committed to it or whatever, and then just let it be as it is. And as it's flying, I'm just like, fuck yeah, and thank God.
Yeah.
Like thank me. I don't know. And it ended up just short of that tree, and it was like fucking sweet. Absolute. Now I can just attack for birdie.
Did you let out a fuck yeah?
I think I said something. I don't remember, but I definitely like did one of those. Like I was pumped about it. because that was obvious, and I'm sure with a lot of other people was like the nervousness of going OB on that hole, especially now we have played one round in kind of wind and that whole third round in basically no wind, and this is where we get the fucking wind.
Yeah.
Of course it is. So
when I saw on live scoring that you got the 3 on 17, I let out an audible fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was driving to
yeah.
Ludington. Well, Gabby was driving us in the car, and I was like giving her the updates, and then it took fucking forever after you guys put it out on 16
Yeah.
to 17. So I never saw landed in the fairway.
Really?
Like it didn't update. Plus I'm driving through fucking nowhere, so there's
Yeah.
like no signal. So the next signal was birdie, you know what I mean? Like in for birdie on 17. And I remember driving my car, I was like, fuck yeah.
That's
if
awesome.
If he can get 18, like this will be a sweet ass round.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I let it out for you if you didn't do it on the course.
Yeah. So I get up to that lie, and the whole time is like, I'm for sure, like I'm wanting to get up there to birdie.
Yeah.
And
As opposed to what? Like I'm just short of this tree, I'm gonna lay up.
Yeah, exactly. But like the fear was like being short on that shot and being on the face of the hill.
Yeah.
So like my thing is like, I mean, it's still always like I'm trying to get up that hill, but there was so many times where I throw a shot and I'm thinking that it's going to be like right there, or like shots that I think are going to be way past it. It's always shorter than like you're anticipating.
Yeah.
So I get up there, and for like a split second I go back and forth between like mid-range and fairway, and then immediately it's like fairway, just for the same reason I just described. And I'm like, I'm going to aim left side of the basket, like flat to Anheuser, hit it like real hard, hope for the best kind of thing, and just trust that it's just going to do what I want it to do, or I expect it to be doing. And as it's flying, it's like it's on Anheuser, and then it starts like flattening out, and then I'm just like, where's it just going to hit? Like, this is good already where it's going.
Right.
And then it hits like basically the crest of the hill that you can see, and just pops past it. And even Brody's like, nice throw, dude.
Yeah.
And again, it was one of those, like, I punched my hand, like, as a class. I don't know why I punched my hand. Eventually I'll break my hand for doing it, because I hit it like pretty hard. Get up there, definitely had nerves on that putt, where it's like, this is a 20-foot putt, like, for birdie, like, oh shit, and I'm like shooting really well, yada yada yada. And then it's like, it's a fucking 20-foot putt, you idiot. Like,
Darren's threed this hole. How
just
hard can
putt
it be?
this putt or whatever. And so I putt the putt like with more confidence than like I thought I would give into it. Squared it. It's like, fuck yeah. Now 18. And now the drive on 18 is like, now I have like the nerves of it, where it's like all the weird shit, like this tree comes into play, the OB comes into play, whatever.
All of a sudden you really see those trees by the tee pad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, wow, they're right here.
Yeah. Check my caddy book again. Like I have it like basically memorized, but I'm always just reading it, because maybe there's like something that I don't remember or whatever. Check it. It's like yellow FD on this angle, whatever. Sweep off the tee pad. Line up my shot. Like, this is where I want to be. This is the angle that I want. I want to hit this really hard. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And like, as in the, like, I start my run up again, like everything just kind of washes away, and I hit my shot, and like all I can think is like, fuck yeah, I hit the shot.
Yeah.
And it got through the branches, and it landed like on the line of the circle. So like, as I walk up there, I mean, I don't know it, and then I get up there, I'm like, I'm on the fucking circle. I'm running this putt, because like this was my game plan. Like, if I have a putt, I'm running it.
And there's not a lot of consequence on that, because there's like nothing in your way, and it's not like some weird hill that if you hit it, you're gonna roll or fly off into the abundance.
I've seen weird rolls where they like come back outside of the circle, but it's very few
rare.
and far between. So yeah, like, I was super pumped. Brody threw a great shot. He parked that hole. Like, his sidearm is super impressive. Not very surprising, but you know. So the one dude, poor guy, like, he just had a rough round. So he goes roller off the tee, lands into the shit, goes OB, this, that, whatever. He finishes out, or throws like his putt up there. Second guy goes, he's like off the cage, and then it's like, all right, it's my turn. And I was like ready to go, because I wanted to make this so bad, and I was like, can you guys just hurry the fuck up so I can make this putt or whatever. And so finally, like, it's my turn. I get up there, and I get super comfortable like right away, and I like kind of did the same thing I did on 17. I throw my putt, and like the only thing I could think of was like, I didn't pop that like hard enough. So it's like, this is a 50-50. Like, it's gonna get there, but like, where's it gonna hit? So it like hit the top of the cage, punched up into the chains, and then just like fell down. And I was just again punched my hand really hard. Brody's like, great fucking round, and I was just like, yeah, I was super stoked about it.
Yeah,
I was super stoked.
I was cheering.
Had no
I was
idea
cheering
what
in
I
the
was
car.
shooting.
Yeah,
But I just knew I was shooting really well,
Yeah.
and I just knew my front nine was like hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss.
Right.
So
and it was good enough.
yeah.
Yeah,
So 7 down, basically only on the back nine, where it's like on the front, it's like, dude, if I could have just got like this, and this, like
yeah.
easy 10 down.
Yeah, and you moved up like 31 spots on the third round
Yeah.
with that 7 down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
which helped.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely helped.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was exciting, and I don't know, I was just super like amped going into the whole thing. And again, after like the first round happening, and then you and I were talking, like I was more so scared of like, how am I going to react, which is like a weird thing, because it's like, it's saying that seems like you're talking to two different people.
Yeah.
But like my inner monologue was very calm and collected, and like I knew that I could make things better. I knew I could like claw my way back up and like for sure get into cash type thing.
Yeah,
And a lot of that came from playing like practice rounds, and I try to put like myself in the mental state of like, this is bigger than what it is kind of thing, and just practice that mentally.
Yeah.
And I won like those leagues, and it was kind of a similar thing. So I was
Did you
really-
try to squeeze some Taco Bell out of Brody when you were done?
No.
Where you're like, I forgot to tell you before we started playing, but
Do you want to go get some Taco
you're
Bell?
gonna owe me some Taco Bell,
Yeah.
brother. Nothing weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's super cool, man. I was super proud of you. I thought
Thank
it
you.
went great. I think after a hiatus from tournaments in general, and then going and playing a pro tour event, you know, like the mental improvements. Obviously, you have the skill set to do it, but the mental improvements to go from like not shooting what you wanted to shoot and definitely being off of what you wanted to do, and then coming and shooting like probably at the high end of what you were hoping to do, to then come back and shoot really into the butter zone of what you were hoping to do.
Yeah.
I think that's like a great indication of you being able to come back and make things happen.
Yeah.
Because if you can knock off 2 years of like legit tournament rust in 3 rounds, not even in 2 rounds, like that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. When I was driving back to Scott, because I stayed at Scott's
Yeah.
for the 3rd round. And as I was driving back, I was just super excited, because he was following too.
Yeah.
And he was also like super pumped too. He's like walked in, he's like, nice fucking round, dude.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was super proud of myself, and like literally for all the same reasons, just
Yeah.
because it's like, I knew that all this is there. I knew like 3 55s in a row is there too, even though that's not what happened. But
Yeah.
moving forward, I'm excited to go play more stuff. And yeah, like I
So-
had a great time playing.
So the fire inside to hold yourself accountable and compete is like raging at this point.
Kinda.
Like what are you thinking? You're thinking like you're back in terms of your inner desire to like actually see what you can do,
Yeah.
versus like when you needed to take a break of like this isn't
Yeah.
fun anymore.
Yeah.
You feel all new inside.
Yeah. That new
Ooh.
Zach smell, dude.
God, I'll have to jab my thumb in you later. Are you new? Damn. Seems flexible, that new Zach smell.
Man,
All
dude,
right.
what is that? Flex?
Well, the Retuna to greatness, man. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Well, super great job, man.
Thank you.
I think that is a valuable skill set that you put into action, you know, that you can't practice in any other setting than playing a big tournament.
Mhm.
You know, the only way to really like develop that skill set is to go out and throw a lackluster first round at a big tournament.
Yeah.
So like I always look at like when I go out and play a first round at a tournament, it's lackluster. It's like, all right, well, this is an opportunity to practice this skill set for later on when I need it. And I think you made the best out of the whole situation. I think that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got some cash, baby.
Fuck yeah. And it's going right back into disc bearing,
Yeah.
because I'm going to go buy a stack of discs from him.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was talking to him for a minute, because I'm trying to accumulate stuff that I throw and what I really like throwing. And like the 2 main things that I like would be PD2s and D2s. Those are like the 2 ends of destroyers that I like. So I want just a stack of them.
Yeah.
And so I can go and practice and just see what they do and just learn those, because I think those are two really good complementing discs.
Yeah.
And Disc Baron was a sponsor of mine, and so I was like, hey, I'm going to take all this money and just invest it into you so I can just get this many of whatever.
Right.
So.
I have to pee again.
Oh my God. This is embarrassing.
I'm old.
It's okay. It's just another pee break for all the other old guys.
Are you gonna get some Opto Mercy?
He's got one more. So I'm definitely getting that one. But I still have 15. So.
I thought you said you only had 2 and you lost one.
I only had 2 on my person at the time. Yeah. But yeah, Prodigy, I found out, also has their practice bag. So I'm gonna get a couple of those because like they're for dealers, they're like $15. So I'm gonna get a couple of those to fill up for literal practice rounds, so I can have like 10 Mercies.
So for the practice
Anyways.
bag, you're talking about the plumber bag?
It looks just like a
It's like
duffel bag
yeah.
type thing. You know, like really similar to the Revo one. It's just Prodigy makes their own. And then
Are you talking about
So-
the one that's like round? It looks like a disc
a
and
tube,
it's long.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
the plumber one.
okay, sure.
Okay.
It's a plumber bag. I'm fucking sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck face my mom.
Cool. All right, so we did some show and tell today in terms
Yeah.
of like bringing everyone up to date from previous podcasts. We brought out our first Ace discs
Yeah.
from these moments of excitement.
Yeah.
So would you like to share yours since
Yeah.
it's so prominently
So
displayed?
This is my first run Xcal, also my first Ace disc ever. It has some stuff on here from the Rick, like nice shot and flip, nice ace, and some other chicken scratch that I can't read.
Yeah.
I'm not apt at reading chicken scratch.
Right.
And then Rick Vigil's very nice signature.
Yes.
Also, if you're aware of my please return on all my discs, this is where it comes from.
Right.
This is legitimately why I do that every time now.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me, so I've just kept at it. Also, smiley face.
So
yeah.
what's the date?
I didn't have a date on there.
What's the signature underneath? What does that say on there?
What do you mean? What's the signature? Which one? Show me.
Oh, that's a PDGA number.
That's a PDG.
I thought it was 3508. I was like,
No.
March.
No.
It's a handy. Well, sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Very
I'm stoked
nice.
that it's back in my possession.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah.
I have my Rogue. Very nice.
That you just recently found out that it was a.
Well, I didn't know, right? It was a long time ago. Mine is from June 7th, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when I first started. So I'm kind of crazy. We've already gone over this, but like,
Yeah.
I used to write the date that I would start throwing a disc, and then it would, for some reason, it would make sense to me. It's like how broken in it was, or like I could track like how long it took it to break in. This is when I first started learning backhand.
Yeah.
And so like I started throwing this at 610. So then a year later, I got an ace with it. So I'd been throwing this backhand for 1 year before I got an ace. But I just realized when I was looking at this, is like really faint, like ghost stamped onto the plate here is Mark and Lisa, I think. Dykstra, and it's a wedding disc, and they got married August 4th, 2007. So I hope that they're
Let
still.
me see. Let me see.
I hope it's hard to read. I hope that
Yeah.
they're still together.
Me too.
But it's a beautiful disc, and that it has made me
Wow. Yeah, that is very faint. Jeez.
collect. Yeah, you can hardly see it. It's not just
Yeah.
my old eyes.
Oh, now I can see it perfectly.
Shut the fuck up. So, anyways, that's it. And then the only autograph I have,
Kevin Hughes.
Kevin Hughes, right there.
Hell yeah.
Came out. I think the funny thing is there's 3 different weights written on it: 2 at 174 and 1 at 173.
Really?
I don't know if it lost weight over time or what was going on, but
I think you should weigh it every year.
yeah, I totally forgot that it was purple because I legitimately hate purple discs. Like
Yeah.
I have a purple disc in there now because I got an ace with a Buzz SS. So the one that flies most similar to the one that I aced with is purple.
Why do you hate purple? Just hard to find?
Yeah, I just
or-
think it's hard to find.
Okay.
And I don't like things looming when I'm throwing discs. So I don't like thinking like, oh, I don't want to throw this because it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
And purple I just find to be like purple, dark blue, any of those colors. Like they're just the
Basically
hardest.
black or clear.
Yeah, they're just the hardest to find. And I always think it's funny when I play with people where like half their bag is shit that you're never going to find. And I'm like, did you not know we were going to play in the woods today? Or like, I don't know, like, Real Tree got out of, their stamps on discs a long time ago because people don't,
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
All right. So what's your next tournament that you're playing?
So I signed up for the Patriot, which is at Hunt's Hideaway this weekend.
So are you on the wait list or are you in?
Number 1 on the wait list.
I'm going to fuck you up, dude.
Oh, God.
I am going to. So maybe Thursday or something we can go out and play.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out there and play the course.
I do want to go play. I think there's a good chance of me getting in, but regardless, I have to go out there anyways to meet Disc Baron to get stuff because he has a bunch of inventory now. Because I told him like, well, okay. So I told him I want all your PD2s.
Yes.
I looked at the website. He has a lot of PD2s.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I was like,
but you're tournament rich right now, bro.
I know. But I'm gonna message him tomorrow. So there's stuff that I'm looking for. So I definitely want like a bigger stack of PD2s for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think you had those.
No, but you could buy a bin. You'll be all set.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to buy them. But yeah, I'm going out there anyways to meet him to get like
cool.
This
well, let's do it.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll have no insight into what you should throw when you're out there.
Yeah,
because we're competitors.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah. So let's get a wager.
Sure.
Let's get a wager for the podcast because the next time we do a podcast, we'll have already played.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What do you want to wager?
Oh shit.
I know.
I don't know. Something that's good for the podcast.
Who's gonna have to? Okay. So we do these stupid drinks every fucking time now. Apparently, it seems like it's a thing.
Keeps the energy up on the podcast. Yeah. All the way.
Maybe the loser doesn't get to drink it, but they have to snort it.
Oh, the loser has to do a line of pre-workout?
Yeah? Or what? All
right, I got a combo.
Let's see.
I got a combo.
Yeah.
All right, the winner gets to pick the shirt that the loser has to wear for the podcast. And the loser has to do a line of pre-workout in addition to the drink that the other guy has to take. So you not only have to do the shot before the podcast.
You have to do a line
in
of it
addition, have
and
to
wear a shirt that they decide.
Yes. Got him.
You just ruined everything.
Got him.
You can't Mike Brady me on the podcast. What the
Mike
heck?
Brady the shit out of you. All right, so we'll have everyone tune in for next week.
Yeah.
And if anybody is watching and they want to put in the comments below what would be a better wager, I think if someone comes up with a better prize, we will either substitute or add it to the prize package of the winner.
If it's worthy, I'm game. Yes.
Oh yeah, dude, I love that course. I legitimately love Hunt's Hideaway. I'm super excited.
I'm excited to play it.
To play the tournament. It's a great tournament course. It's like wherever you're going to start, however you play it out, it's just really good. Like I think that they did a great job putting it together. And like I said, one of the good indicators of a great course is like as soon as I'm done playing it, I just want to play it again. And that course is the strongest. Like toboggans like that, right? But you're usually just tired.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah, when you get done with toboggan, you're like, I could have made this putt. I should have thrown this inside. And you always think like, I left 4 strokes out there I could have picked up. And you just want to play it again. But toboggan, you're also like, I want to go to Holden's, get some carbs on board.
Yeah. Oh,
and
shout
lay
out to
down.
Holden's because they supplied my lunch after every round, which was the same fucking thing.
Really?
Which was like a half pint of coleslaw, which is amazing, and then 3 cheese breadsticks. Nice. And a red pop Faygo.
Really? You went red pop Faygo?
Yeah. Dude, it hit the spot so much.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting amounts of sugar, though.
Yeah. I know. That's like I don't drink as much pop as I used to.
Yeah.
But like the pop I drink is red pop, so I'm trying to like get that just out of my system by putting it in my system, which does make sense.
Yes. I treated myself.
I had a red pop on the way over here.
I treated myself in Ludington on the way up there as we were driving. I was like, I'm gonna get a cream soda. So the cream soda is my like guilty pleasure because it's so good, but it's so sweet. And so probably like 3 times a year I'll get a cream soda. But on the way to Ludington, I was like, when we get there, I get a cream soda. I was just looking so forward to it, and then I got it and smashed it, and it was glorious.
Yeah,
so good. But I don't do the red pop. When I was a kid, when I'd go visit my grandparents, we'd have like red pop root beer floats, but with red pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the dope shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. So, all right, so we'll play the Patriot next week. That'll be fun. So we'll go out and do a little game planning.
Yeah.
And
But what happens? Okay, so I just thought about this.
Yep.
I'm first on the wait list. What
Yep.
happens if I just don't get in? Like, not one person drops out or doesn't show up,
Well,
so
then
I can't play.
I think you don't do better than me at the tournament, and are therefore
I
relegated.
didn't even get a chance to play in the
relegated.
tournament.
You know, there's a lot of excuses in
I
life.
didn't even get to play
right.
in the tournament.
If you don't get in, if you're number one on the wait list and you don't get in, then there's no bet. I can't imagine you not getting in as number one on the wait list.
Yeah.
Like, I really can't imagine everyone getting up on time. Like,
Yeah.
it's disc golf.
Yeah.
Right. And it's on, what, a Sunday?
Yeah, or somebody just, like, drops out. Because I think that was cashless pre-reg, or no?
I don't know. I registered.
I don't know.
I full on registered.
Yeah.
I'm playing that, and then I'm playing the other one out there, the Heisernaut. There's another tournament out there
On Sunday?
towards the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
also at Hunt Hideaway.
Gotcha.
Just because I love that course. I love going out there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive in the morning, but you're fully awake by the time
How
you get
far
there.
is it from here? Hour and a half?
It's an hour and 10 minutes from here.
That's not bad. In disc golf traveling,
No, it's not that bad.
that's par.
And from you, last time I went out with 2J, and we took like Van Dyke to 53 to some other shit to whatever over, and it was like the same distance. It's like an
Okay.
hour and 10 from his house.
Gotcha.
So that's 22 in Van Dyke. So
Fuck yeah.
it's not like I'm that much closer than you.
So does that
over
mean
here.
on Thursday we're going to play there all day?
We'll have to see. I also have a job, so we'll have to figure out like what's going on with work. But yeah, we'll definitely try to get out there and play. Yeah, and it'll be a great course. That'll be super cool for next week, so we can figure out what's going on
Yeah.
and do all that. So, yeah, I don't have anything else. I think that's all I got.
I think we killed it.
Yeah, you got a little bit of scramble game here at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I got one
Random
thing if you
stuff.
want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah, no, I'm in.
It was a
I'm
good
not in a
idea.
rush.
So, again, my buddy Kyle, and this was something I don't think I've ever thought about.
Yeah.
He said he thinks spectators should pay to spectate. I think could generate something sweet, like even like, say you have 100 spots
Yeah.
for DGLO because COVID and everything, whatever, and you want to come spectate, then here, like, you have to sign this waiver just like we did. You have to, like, I'm going to follow the rules or you're going to kick me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And as long as I follow these rules, I pay you $5-10 or whatever to come just be a spectator.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I would pay to go spectate. He would pay to go spectate. But based on just a two-person
Two-person pool.
yeah, it doesn't mean that everyone will pay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, what you would think, because I feel like that would generate some revenue for maybe added cash or whatever. Like, X% goes towards players, X% goes towards DGPTs, all their fees and whatever they need to do to supply whatever, instead of just having free floating people. I don't know.
All right,
I'm not sure.
So there's two parts to that question. One is the fact that it's COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so COVID's going to have a state mandate by the governor that allows different levels of things being open and different things being allowed at each level. So the level that we're at right now kind of got kicked up a couple weeks before DGLO, which then cut out caddies, spectators, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when that happens, there's no way to like get a buffer from the governor to like have a certain number of spectators.
Yeah.
Because they have to, in that way, like keep the number of people on the course at the event to a minimum. So even like the Discraft van selling all their shit, they had to go to Holden's, and like just keeping the number of people that are actually on those grounds under a certain number, just so they're allowed to do it legally, right? So if somehow you could manage to like figure out a loophole so that you could pay $10 and have like these spectators, then like a lot of people that are super pissed off that their businesses are closed, like each one of their employees could pay $10 and go to work, and then they could open their business. So I think just the logistics of like the governor giving like a like, well, it's okay for disc golf versus industry seems like a zero.
Yeah.
So I think like with COVID, it's a no, right? If the course is like kept to a maximum number of people, there's no way to get around that to collect $5 or $10 a person, because if you could open that number up, people would gladly pay $5 per person to be able to have their wedding.
Yeah.
Right. And so like the state's not going to do that. So I
Right.
don't think that that's a choice. So if you move out of COVID, and you go to have spectators, I think it's a terrible idea to charge them, because I think the live coverage, right, being charged per person or being charged a subscription to do that, you're tapping into revenue from the disc golf world.
Yeah.
Right. So like people, nobody is sitting at home like, hey, do you want to watch this like Law and Order SVU marathon, or do you want to randomly pay some money to watch disc golf live on my computer?
Yeah.
Right. Like the people that are signing into that are hardcore disc golf fans that want to watch those tournaments.
Right.
So like collecting money from those people to put it towards the pro tour, the people who are paying that money are happy to do it because it's going towards something that's like moving the sport forward and everything else. And it's a great package to watch.
Yeah.
DGLO broke the record. They had over 18,000 concurrent viewers for.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Which the record before was under 10,000.
Okay.
So that's a giant.
Yeah.
And then also the Jomez video where Nico won had like over 1 million views.
Yeah.
In like
as like a cumulative or whatever of all the videos, I think, or was it just?
I don't know if it was the one. I just saw them post like that they had gotten 1 million views, and I remember thinking like, okay, cool, because I think like anything as it grows in that way is like an exponential thing, right? Because then the people that see it that are interested in it then tell other people and all that. So I think in moving people into viewing disc golf, the thing that impresses people the most that don't watch disc golf is being there live, and we've talked about this before. So I think like watching someone throw discs on the internet is one thing, but standing there and watching Simon rip off of that pad and throw it like over halfway up that hill is like, holy fuck. And hearing the sizzle as the thing flies over you. You know what I mean? And like, I mean, like just the reality of like actually watching disc golf live. I think that is the best way to like actually move the sport forward into more of a spectator sport and to have a bigger following. So I think if you try to capitalize on that right now, you're just short-sighting yourself and you're robbing the future of like it becoming a bigger spectator sport faster.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I think the more people that you can get there, the more that you can draw advertisers, right?
Yeah.
So if you're like, we're going to have 13,000 people here on Sunday, right? Then your ability to get like Larry's hand lotion or whatever the fuck it is, it's going to advertise there. Like you're way more likely to get people to do that. Because you're like, we're going to have a captive audience of all these people, you know? So like getting the people out there, there's a way to make money from a shitload of people going to Toboggan to watch DGLO. But do I think charging them money on top of the money they have to pay to get into the park to watch the event, I think that you're cutting yourself off at the knees. I think, and I've talked to you about this before, and I think it's funny, but I also think it's very true. I think if you loosen up the etiquette on disc golf a little bit, Brody, right? Brody hit that scoobers,
Yeah.
right? Let out a yelp, smacked himself in the chest, gave the salute, walked
Yeah.
over to the basket.
Yeah.
And people love that.
Yeah.
Some people like fucking hate it,
Yeah.
right? You're finding your own opinion. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My opinion is, like, I look at, when I've said this to you before, and we always joke around about it, like, Pro Bowlers Tour was dead. Guy from Microsoft, one of the executives, bought the entire sport for $5 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The PBA was dead. It was dead. They were
Yeah.
literally like going bankrupt. So he bought it for $5 million. Huge billionaire. $5 million is nothing.
Yeah.
You could buy a whole sport for $5 million. That's amazing. I don't even think you could buy disc golf right now for $5 million. I don't know what the pro tours were or whatever, but there isn't also like competing tours. It's just the pro bowlers. You know what I mean? So he bought the whole thing for $5 million. And then he changed it a little bit into more of personalities. So that's when you got people like hitting strikes and yelling and wearing sunglasses and like, you know, whatever, our personal favorites that we love.
Yeah.
It kind of brought that to the forefront. So I don't think that you make a circus out of disc golf, but I think, you know, like people play with passion and people want to see the passion. I love Calvin Heimberg because
oh my god.
I can't get enough. Dude, I was watching it today and Gabby's there and I was like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? I was
I
like,
talked to him face to face, and boy,
I can't get enough. I can't get enough.
Dude.
But I think if you had a whole tour of Calvin Heimberg's, if you weren't into disc golf and couldn't appreciate like just what a magnificent specimen he is, like you're not going to get it. But I think like Brody, Nico, people that play with a lot of passion, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's hard to coordinate and where do you draw the line and all this stuff because like obviously like an outburst on one tee or on one basket can fuck someone up doing something on another hole and all that stuff. But I think if you loosen up the etiquette a little bit, like this year for ball golf, we got to see like Tiger and Phil play with, you know, Manning and Brady on like a 2-on-2, where they were mic'd up the whole time, and it was like a lot more lax. It was one of the most entertaining golf things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think like disc golf, like they mic'd them up this weekend, which I thought was really cool. But I think if you like relaxed the etiquette of it a little bit, so you're not like fucking with other people's stuff, but like if you could somehow show the like interaction between players a little bit more, people being a little bit more like verbal and all that stuff, I think that would help grow the sport faster in terms of viewership.
Yeah.
Because most people that watch golf are golfers, right? Like before Tiger Woods, the only people that watch golf were like serious golfers. And then people wanted to watch Tiger Woods because they were like,
he was loud.
well, and he just killed, like he just
Yeah.
like killed everybody.
Right.
So it's like, well, that's epic to watch, and just watch someone be so dominant at such a like giant sport. Like people got into it, but then like people have carried the sport. Like John Daly is like just a fucking wild card. People love watching him. Like even Ricky Fowler, who's funny, and Dustin Johnson, who's a pretty funny guy. Like Bubba Watson's got a ton of character. Like people pick up on these people and then they follow them specifically. Like even Simon does all these like trick shot videos and all this stuff, and like picks up people because of his personality. And when he's playing, he's one of the most entertaining people to watch, because when he fucks up a shot, he always knows where the camera is, and he always just turns and like gives that smile like, there goes another stroke. And so I think in terms of like,
Very quirky.
in terms of viewership, I think if you could relax it a little bit to a point that it's not at a detriment of the other competitors, but just kind of like allowed people to be themselves a little bit more, I think that would help a lot with getting people to want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think what you're still trying to get to is this critical mass of having like a giant viewership that you can then use to attract advertisers. And so my interesting question that I had come up with was like, if you went to the top 50 players in the world and were like, hey, we're thinking about loosening this up a little bit. So you might have a little bit of like people making noise when you're doing something or whatever it is, but we're going to increase purses by 20%. Are you interested in that? Or do you want us to just keep it how it is? And I wonder like those people, like how they would be. You know what I mean? I wonder if that would be something that would be worthwhile, and be like, over time, it could double the purses.
Yeah.
You know, like, would you be okay with every once in a while when you're doing something, you hear someone be like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like, obviously not swearing, but, you know, like having like an outburst or something to make it more human, you know what I mean? Or like people being able to talk a little bit more, or having that as more of an emphasis on like the viewership of it. Because I think it brings a little bit more humanity to it. And it's a little bit more relatable than people that have no understanding of how crazy that throw on 13 is.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think that would help. And then like the more people you can get out there, the better.
Yeah. And I'm for it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great, because it's weird playing when everyone's just like quiet and like not really talking. I mean, I get it, but also when it's someone does something miraculous and then nobody says anything, like I feel like I'm one of the few that's like, I'll speak up or whatever. There's at least more than a handful of times this weekend where somebody throws like a great shot or does make a great save or whatever, and I'm like, hey, like, and I mentioned something about it, like congratulate them on it. And it's like I'm the only one, versus like other people are just like, I could give a fuck less.
Right.
Where it's like, I get it, but also at the same time it's like, I don't, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
this stuff always makes me uncomfortable too. When I go to play a tournament and like the guy next to me is like I'm all about being in your zone, but when it's like super like almost awkward as to like how like completely like amped into like nowhere that you are is like crazy. Like I'm totally focused on my game. But I'm also like legitimately pulling for the people I'm playing with. You know what I mean? And maybe you lose that when it becomes your sole source of income, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But like for me, like I'm always pulling for the people I'm playing, like that are playing on my card. And when they do something fucking ridiculous, I'm like, yeah, like great shot or great whatever. And I've played with people that are still like, you know, like in the fucking.
I was doing that the whole time the last round.
Yeah.
Like I was, even the dude who was just like, he was having a rough go of it. I was not. It used to affect me more, but even still, like I'm good at managing that so it doesn't affect me. But I'm still like, that fucking blows, because I could just as easily be there or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like I want him to do well, so he's not like losing his mind, because I know there's some level of importance of this to him as it is to me. That, come on, like you got this, dude. Like I don't like, I want to beat you for sure.
Yeah.
But this isn't how I want to beat you.
Right.
like this is some dumb shittery. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, I don't know. For me, I would love to see, like, I play with a lot of passion, and we've talked about this before on the podcast. Like, I've never been yelled at during a round, but I've definitely had some outbursts, and all usually in the positive, very rarely in the negative, but I'm usually like, hyped up, and I have taken my shirt off during, round, whatever.
Oh, your shirt off.
Sometimes my pants, but all right. So pants at the tee pad, shirt at the basket is how it goes. If I knock the shit out of a drive, the pants probably coming off, and if I ace, usually the shirt's in question. But whatever. It's what the fans want to see.
You aced the practice basket at Kensington.
Yeah.
And then showed the old men at the booth.
You got to give
underwear.
Sometimes you got to read your crowd. You got to give them what they want. What are they looking for? All right, so I guess I got another thing that I wanted to talk about. So I switched my bag from, like we had talked about, from like all like really understable stuff to like throwing discs now that I think are actually going to do what I want them to do, and throwing like the more comfortable shot. And it was awesome. I went and played I went and played River Bends on whatever day. Maybe it was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Went and played Saturday, and I birdied hole 6 for the first time in my life. And I birdied hole... What hole?
6 at Firefighters?
No, at River Bends.
River Bends. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
6, the one before the long one. Before
Yeah.
Okay.
The Anheuser
Yeah.
one. Yep. So I birdied that, which was dope.
Yes.
Yes, that's a nice
always,
deuce.
Yes.
And then I birdied 24 for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Same round. So I thought that was pretty good.
What'd you get them with? What was the big turnover? What'd you throw?
Crank SS.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Nailed that shit.
So I threw it out to the outside on a hyzer and just flipped it all the way over, and then it came back, and I had like a 50-footer, 45-footer, and just smashed it. That end, boom, took the deuce. I was like, first time, lifetime, nailed it. And then on 24, I threw the crank SS, trying to do something dumb. That's not why I got the birdie. So I was like, I was really trying to like pull it up, have it go in to flat, and then actually cut again, like in between the trees.
Okay.
Like it was a really, really specific shot that I was trying to do, and I just missed it. So I threw it up. It turned up, literally like turned up to flat, went dead straight, and then like went to cut over, and right as it cut over, it went right in between the trees and fell down. And then I threw it in with Ringer GT.
Rocco? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Rocco's got a lot of throw-ins at this point, but that one was like super money because it was a standstill shot, and 2 people threw before me, and their up shots were a little dicey. And then I just threw Rocco right out of the hand. I was like, it's fucking in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was sweet. Went right in. I was like, cool. So,
Fuck yeah.
And then after that, I went and played 1 through 9 again before it got dark. Because it was like real quick. I'm going to shoot through 1 through 9. Because I always feel like if you can shoot under, playing all par 3s, if you can shoot under on the front 9 of that course, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I was 3 under going into hole 9.
Really?
But it was like dark.
Yeah.
Like not getting dark. Like
it's
it was
there.
dark.
It's already
So I threw my drive, and I turned it. I pulled it to the right a little. I didn't turn it over, but I pulled it to the right a little bit, caught some trees, whatever. And then my upshot is literally just like dark. So I threw like a straddler, hit a tree, and it literally just came right back to me. So I put it up on top of the hill, took the bogey, shot 2 under on the front 9, and I was like, I'm pretty good with that.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't too bad. So
you could argue with Light, and you shot 3 under.
I'll still say 2 under.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Whatever.
I could.
I mean, that's still good. I've had that talk with Scott before when we'd play doubles, and like at one point it's like playing singles, and you can get like standing on hole 10, you're like however many under, whatever, like you're doing well.
Yeah.
Like really well. Like above par, obviously not good because there's all this other stuff, but even is pretty par for the course, like no pun intended.
Yeah.
But getting under, because a lot of the birdies there are not very easy. Like,
right. You got 2, you got 3.
Yeah.
Right. And then like, so I got 2, 3, 4, right? Because 4 I put 10 feet from the bucket.
Yeah.
And then 5 I pulled my shot over twice because I've been trying to work on like an Annie, you know what I mean? Like we've talked about, like trying to like throw more stable stuff and work on angle control. And that shot's like a touchy corner. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to like get it over, to have it flex right at the corner, and then come back to the left there, and I just put it. I'm throwing stuff that's not quite stable enough.
Dude, they are so, because that one there, I've found, at least for me, makes me pull my shots right more just because it makes you lean that way.
Yep.
Because that pad is not flat.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like when you're talking about the hole, like we were talking about before, of like how do you approach a hole and whatever. Like that whole shot is determined by that tee pad.
Yeah.
Because for me, and I didn't think of it till you just said it, I used to have that hole pretty dialed in, and it's a slow walk up.
Yeah.
And then I would throw like a specific disc that I know, like just straight, like it's almost a standstill, but I'm walking up for the rhythm of it, and I put it out like right at this tree and have it fade over. I was just trying the other way. And yeah, that's a terrible hole to throw an Annie at because that tee pad sucks.
Yeah. It makes it more Anheuser than you intend.
I came right off the tee pad on one.
Nice.
Did not hurt myself.
Perfect.
Which I was like, whew.
Oh God.
It was like like you see those videos where like the car comes off the road and then like smashes and like the person's just standing there and then they're like, I was like, I slipped totally off the tee pad, hit the ground in front of the tee pad, threw my shot on one, and then I was like, I'm okay, I'm not hurt. So I felt pretty good about that. But no, it's been good. My angle control and what you had said before about the video that you were saying of like having the disc, and again, like I feel stupid because it's what I tell people when I teach them how to throw. Is like if you have the disc in alignment with your arm, one, you're not doing any heavy lifting with your wrist, but two, then as you point your hand, as you move your elbow, like it just kind of comes out in a line. So Friday when I was playing, I started really working on that, and I had some great results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Played Stony Green Longs on Friday at Leagues, and took a 6 on hole 7.
Green Long.
Yeah. So that's the one that like snakes down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know where we lost discs on 8? It's the hole before that. Yeah. So whatever. Started on hole 3 or something. I don't know. We started on 3. I took a 3. Right. Whatever. Got to 4. Took a 3. I almost put it in for 2. 6 shot. Yeah. Almost. Whatever.
Yeah.
Made the putt. Then I didn't get either of the short ones. Ran the shit out of the first one, like chain height right to the side of it, but went like 40 long. Yeah. Missed the putt coming back. And then the next one I turned over a little bit, hit the tree. So when I missed both of those, I was already thinking like, fuck.
Yeah.
Then I got to 7 and I took a 6. I had some unfortunate breaks. And then at that point I was like, I'm going for everything and I'm just going to work on my angle control. So when I got to 8, I went for the hyzer. I was like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Big hyzer. Got it. Wrong disc.
What'd you throw?
So I threw my crank, but like the flip.
No SS.
No SS. But I turned it into an SS because I actually like had good form. Yeah. Put a good crank on the thing, like not because it's a crank, but put like good, like kept my head still in the middle, came through, pulled it through, put it up on a hyzer, perfect, and it came out of my hand like this, and then just went.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
were you able to find it?
Didn't. Yeah, no, I found it.
Oh, nice.
It was so fucked though.
I can imagine.
So from there, I caught the top of the tree, like not like going out.
Yeah.
Not coming around.
Right.
So it hit that and then just like fell in there. Found it. Had to throw a tomahawk out. The only shot I had to get back to the fairway. Didn't get back to the fairway. Oh, then that's not tossed out from there onto the fairway.
And got to the fairway.
Got to the fairway. And then I got mad and threw. This is all with the crank because I left my cart on the other fairway. So then I went to go throw a just an Annie up to the bucket with the crank again. Didn't get over it enough. Went into the shit on the left.
Because it's a crank.
Pitched out and then hit like a 50 or 60 footer for the 6. So I went 6-6. So after that, it was run time, buddy. I started fucking running everything. It was good. But, but really at that point, like I just wanted to work on my, like I'm going to be out of town, I think, one of the weeks of the playoffs. So I was like, really like, it doesn't matter. Even if I like won the league, I'm not going to make the play. I'm like, I can't play the playoffs. I'll just be taking a spot from someone that could do something. So started working the angles. And by the end of the round, I had him pretty dialed in. So I went to 2. You played with me the first time I ever threw that hyzer shot a couple weeks ago. Threw a better hyzer shot and still didn't get the ace.
Really?
Yeah.
Still like chains and all?
It was so fucking dope. Threw it up on the, like, instead of going out on this hyzer line, I threw it more like to this hyzer line so you could see the disc the entire way out of my hands to the basket. Yeah. I have no idea how it didn't go in. It literally like...
Did it hit metal or no?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh my
I have no idea. But it was a better shot. You could see it like go up, come right around, and you're like, that's in. Yeah. And like, here's the basket, and the disc comes in, and it just goes boom, and then hit the ground and stuck right behind the basket.
Nice.
So as we were there, like I walked up to it and I was just like,
I don't see how it got here.
I don't know how it.
Even though I saw how it got
yeah,
here.
did it just like vaporize as it was supposed to go through the chains?
Yeah. That stuff is always so crazy.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shots like throughout the tournament where it's like, how the fuck did that not touch metal?
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
not myself, but like multiples of like other people's, and it's just like, don't know. I thought 16 was gonna be aced. Like Dylan, I was playing with, he like, I don't know, second at AmNats a couple years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Also another guy I found like super juiced up about like, oh, like super cool this and that, whatever. Anyways, throws this shot and somebody else goes, that's in. And I'm watching it this whole way, and it does look like it just goes through it
Yeah.
with like nothing.
That basket, I think, out of all the shots you have, one, you don't have that many where you can like throw and see the basket the entire way.
Yeah.
But that one is one of the most puzzling baskets I've ever thrown at.
Yeah.
Because I've stood there a couple of times and the same shit. I'm like, that's in.
Yeah.
And then even when it's on the ground, I'm still like, I thought that was in.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see any way that it actually missed.
Yeah.
But I'm behind the basket where I think it would have gone in, but it didn't go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a weird one.
I know you can hit metal. I've done it one time before.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it was during the straight shot not existing ever. So I was playing with Fred and Matt, and I threw a Firebird up and over like the flex line that
Yep.
still does exist. It's just not like the realistic shot anymore. And it comes down, like I throw it. It's like, oh, that's perfect. Goes around. I'm just waiting to hear like if it's good or not. And I hear the audible like smack into the side of the cage. And then he goes, you hit the basket. I was like, yeah,
Thanks.
I know.
No
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I skipped one
But
off.
that's it.
I skipped one off the top of the basket this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, what'd you
After-
throw?
Patriot. It was
Nice.
before I switched to Discraft.
Okay.
Yeah. Hyzer flip fucking right out of my hand. I was like, that's in.
Yeah.
I just went straight at it, and I was like, that's in, that's in, that's in. And it just kind of like bumped, like literally,
Got
like just kind of bumped and then went, and then I was like 45 past it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would still throw that again.
Yeah.
Because like getting an ace out there is pretty remarkable
Dude,
if you can do it.
shout out Matt Murdoch on 11.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Did he do it again?
No.
Oh.
Just when he did do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like the first ace
Yeah.
in ever, I
Yeah.
think.
Forehand, right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at it. Boom. Fuck it. Why not?
I was on 7 when we were practicing, and he was putting out on 6. And I think, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but like he's known for like having his shirt off. He's a like good looking dude
Yeah.
with like super ripped
Yeah.
and whatever.
Devastatingly handsome man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice too.
Yeah.
So like, anyways, he's shirtless putting or whatever. And I recall something. I recall a lot of things. So I try to like reference things. And a lot of times I don't know. We've had this talk before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that's where that's from.
Yeah.
I just go, you're not that fucking big, dude. Put your shirt back on. He just starts laughing. Also, I realized he didn't know that it was me. So like he had that weird like, who the fuck's this guy sound?
Calling me out.
Yeah.
They don't know who I am.
He like came up. He's like, oh, like I didn't know it was you. Whatever, yada yada. It's like, yeah, I don't like somebody else said that, and not at that time. I obviously said that, but
Right.
like somebody else made a thing. But like it was also funny because he's like probably the biggest that he's been, at least that I've known him. He's
Yeah.
like the biggest now. So like it felt even funnier now saying it.
Yeah.
Because he was bigger than like last year when I saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he
Anyways.
battles back issues. That's like his big like.
Is
his-
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a really bad back.
Interesting.
So sometimes I think just his build and his play revolves around like the management of his back injury.
yeah.
Because like if his back's fucked, it's really hard to get bulky with a bad back.
Yeah.
It's not my excuse, but it
Does it have anything to do with suitcases full of books?
yes,
Okay.
that'll help you get bulked up. People buy books in bulk. I got bulk with books. Anyways, so what was I, I got busted for one of those things of like I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
The Warden. So the Warden. I listen to comedy when I drive because it keeps me awake. Like when I.
Jesselnick?
Yeah, so I went
love
through
Jesselnick.
one album of Jesselnick, one album of Bill Burr, and one album of Dane Cook. I didn't
Okay.
get through the whole Dane Cook album because I made it home.
Yeah.
But Jesselnick's always what we start with because that's Gabby's favorite.
Dude.
She loves Jesselnick. So we did that, but then we got to Dane Cook, and he was talking about like the makeup sex, and he's like, "Who's the warden?" and all this, and so like I've already pulled that. So cute. Gabby's like, "That where you got this from?" I was like, "Yeah, that's where I got this from." So on my mini, it says all my nicknames. One of them there's like the Warden.
Who did you give you the nickname?
So what I do is I say people call me that, and what it is I'll win a bet, and then the bet that I'll win is someone will have to call me like a nickname that I came up with that I think's witty, and that way when I reference like
so
people
you
call me
nickname
that.
yourself.
People
You
do
nickname
call
yourself.
people
You
call me
nickname yourself.
people call me these nicknames. I can't attest to where they get them from, but people do call me nicknames, and then I might incorporate them. So
Who'd you make call you the Warden?
Gabby,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So this is a recent thing you've done of nicknaming yourself.
Oh no, just the current nicknames that I have are recent. I
okay.
can't really remember old
How
ones.
many nicknames do you have? Like 40?
Lifetime?
Yeah.
Lifetime, I probably have like a good 15 nicknames for sure.
All 15 by you?
Probably not. Probably like 14. I think the funniest one that I had was Dab Daddy, from like throwing the dabs. So I put it on the disc golf scene for my name. So that way when I would register for tournaments, it would say Darren Dab Daddy Harrison.
Yeah.
But I totally spaced out to the fact that that's like a weed reference of like doing dabs, you know?
Yeah.
So then like so I'm sober, right? I've been sober for 10 years. So everyone that I played with then just assumed like I'm like some wax master, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, Dab Daddy." Like, yeah, and then people are like petitioning me to smoke weed and like, asking me questions and stuff. And like I never told anyone that it was like in reference to like this kind of a dab. I just went along with it always. I was like, "Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love that stuff." Totally into it. Totally into it. Absolutely.
awesome.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, one guy was super pumped. He's like, "Man, I get to play with the Dab Daddy." He's like, "This is gonna be fun." I was
fuck
like,
yeah.
"Fuck yeah!"
You should
dude."
be like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I think like we were talking. I think you watch a little live coverage start like when Tam threw out the fucking bazooka.
Dude.
Right? It was awesome.
Yeah.
I think you start getting more of that. Crotch chops.
Yeah.
Fucking super dabs.
I love
victory
Gibson's
dances.
enthusiasm for it.
Yeah.
Stop taking Tam stuff. We know you're taking Tam stuff.
Yeah. You just got to come up with your own.
Yeah.
I've got 85. I mean, we play all the time. I
Yeah.
have so many.
Yeah.
There's so many celebrations that take
Yeah.
place.
And all he keeps doing
Yeah.
is just the archer. That's all he keeps doing. I watched him do it in person.
Yeah.
And all I thought was like, you're not Albert.
Yeah.
That's Albert's. Give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, you loosen up a little bit. Albert should be able to call him out.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's mine.
you know who you think you are? I am. Right? Like, when he makes a putt, then like give a shout out and talk some shit. I think it's like that's what I mean. I think that would be epic.
Yeah.
And I still like the idea of like when someone bricks the putt the day before that like really cost them, like getting the screenshot of it and then putting it on your shirt the next day.
Or
and
just
then,
having a shirt. Like, I just thought of this too. So like the Mario levels in like the 2D or like
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, where it's like there's 5. You just have Eagle like rolling back and forth all the way down. So there's like a timeline of him just backwards roll.
yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think there's so many creative ways to do it. You could like, I like if you hit something sweet and then call someone else out, or like I think there's just a bunch of stuff. And I think without turning it into a circus, and with the focus being on disc golf, I think you could make it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's the appeal of a lot of the videos that people watch online of people playing casual rounds. You know what I mean? Like when Simon and Paul go to play, like part of the fun of watching those videos is their shit talking, even though it's subtle and they're not really like talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
But like when you have
it's just sly jabs here and there or whatever.
And when you got Paul and Ulibarri and, Brody and whoever out there and they're playing and like the little like, oh, that's not coming back. I think like, granted, you're not going to mess up someone else's tournament because you're talking shit to them. But I think like, you smash a putt and you want to call it a guy that's totally not even on your card.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That would be my move to the future.
Yeah.
I'm planning on incorporating it in my game. I'm just going to start calling people out. People not even in my league. So one thing that I kept track of, a stat that I don't think too many other people are keeping track of, but is Philo older than me?
I have no idea. He's like one of those ageless people.
Yeah.
I
think Philo's older than me. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Because he got a 3 on 17.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. I'm just trying to keep track of how many people older than me have 3'd 17.
All right, so you have Philo, Jeff Bauman.
Yep. I'm older than Feldberg, I think. How old's Feldberg? No, Feldberg's older than me.
Feldberg's older than you.
But has he 2'd it in the last couple of years, or 3'd it in the last couple of years? I don't know.
Mm.
McRae, for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
I think Feldberg for sure too. Still.
But has he come out to Michigan? Oh, he did last year. We could check the
Yeah.
stats. He played last year. I'm
Yeah.
sure he 3'd it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's definitely played toboggan because he's broke his hand on toboggan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at age. Was he over 42 when he did it?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he broke a bone doing it leads me to believe that maybe he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get on those calcium supplements, bro. Osteobiflex. Oh, all right, man. Well, I think this
Yes.
was a great time.
This was awesome.
Congratulations. Super
Thank you.
proud of you. I think you did a great job. And I'm looking forward to you being proud of me next week. And I'll be proud of you as I watch you just blow a line of pre-workout. It'll be
Yeah.
epic.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I got a
It
great
hasn't happened yet.
shirt for
Dude,
you.
I have a great shirt
I
too.
have a great
It's
shirt.
gonna be amazing.
All right, man. Peace,
This was
dude. I'll
fun.
see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.